if it's being used as an alternative route due to surface water. Around 300 jobs are at risk as the parent company of Fastway Couriers enters receivership. It's expected delays and disruptions for deliveries to follow. Fastway Couriers operates a depot in Letterkenny, and several Donegal-based businesses that use the company's services have now issued statements. CBM Designs in Letterkenny says it will be appointing a new courier today to continue business as usual, while Firegrates Donegal has advised some delays or disruptions to its usual service may occur. A Castlefin councillor has proposed that Buncrana's successful nighttime economy initiative be extended to the Lifford-Stranorlar Municipal District. Speaking at a recent meeting, Councillor Gary Doherty says the initiative could serve as a blueprint for revitalising evening and late night activity in other parts of the county. Councillor Doherty says it's time to revitalise the Twin Towns to what it once was.
Absolutely. Look, I grew up in an era and with a generation who the people that lived in the surrounding hinterlands of Ballybofane, Stranorlar, Castlefin, Killygordon, Glenfin, Convoy, etc. Those people would have all travelled into the Twin Towns at the weekend for their night out, for a bite to eat, etc. And look, I think that there's an excellent opportunity here.
Meanwhile, Councillor Martin Harley noted that the concept of rolling out the programme on a county-wide basis had also been discussed at a recent Vintners Federation of Ireland meeting. After leaving what's been described as a disaster area in Jamaica, Hurricane Melissa is now lashing Cuba with winds of 120 miles per hour. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has asked Jamaicans to remain hopeful and vowed to rebuild an even better than before. Chauvin Brown is in Ocho's Rios, a port town on the north coast of the island, and he says the worst of the storm is over.
Some communities has lost electricity and there's currently no water as well, and I know that the government had brought in external partners to assist with reconnecting. I think that it shouldn't be long before we are back on the power grid.
Looking now to weather, breezy today with sunny spells and heavy showers, bringing the chance of hail and isolated thunderstorms. Feeling cool with highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees and moderate to fresh and gusty westerly winds, which will be strong along the coasts. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with more at 10 o'clock.
A leaky nappy at night is such a yawn the next day. But if you stop the leaks, you stop the yawns. Pampers Baby Dry is leak-proof for better sleep. With Pampers, everyone gets a good night's sleep. Pampers, leak-proof for better sleep or your money back. Decencies apply. Receipt required.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning, and you're very welcome along to the 9 till Noon Show. How are you all keeping this fine Wednesday morning? It's 3 minutes past 9 on this Wednesday, the 29th of October 2025, just 2 days away from Halloween, and we have another bumper 3 hours for you to keep you informed and entertained. We've got all the news stories, local, national and beyond. We've got nice interviews that you will enjoy, hopefully, and your views and comments. And we invite them into us via the usual means. It's 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number, 086 60 25,000. And you can send your voice notes to that WhatsApp number if you want as well. You can always give us a call if that's your fave. It's 07491 25,000. Caroline or in the hot seat as always, assisted by Katie today. And if you want to email, it's comments at highlandradio.com. And don't forget to watch the show if you can, if you want to. If you're at home and have access to your smart TV, your Fire Stick, open the YouTube app and just type in Highland Radio Ireland. You can watch the whole show there every day, all day. And we're also on Facebook and on the X platform. The Finn Valley Voice, childhood obesity is as urgent a problem in the Finn Valley as it is elsewhere. Now, a new multi-euro initiative, cooperation and working together is set to tackle that problem head on. The core project will invest almost 9 million in border areas to tackle obesity. Some 9,000 people will be empowered to tackle obesity by changing their behaviour, primarily by improving diet and increasing physical activity. And we chatted to one of the guys behind that a couple of weeks ago, and it's an interesting project, and hopefully will get results, especially in this age of the Ozempic age, whereby, if you really want to, you have access to, and you can afford it, access to ways of handily, in inverted commas, losing the weight, but that's a more traditional way of doing so as well there. On to the Nationals now, and Fianna Fáil figures believe Taoiseach Micheál Martin is facing a more serious risk of a challenge in his leadership than on previous occasions in the wake of the party's presidential election debacle. This is in the Irish Times. Sources across the party, from backbenchers to ministers, say Mr Martin will have to negotiate an ongoing series of issues against the backdrop of heightening risk of a heave. There is a belief among some at a senior level, although not universal, that Mr Martin's enemies in the parliamentary party may have 12 votes necessary to put down a motion of no confidence in the leader, but not necessarily to win it thereafter. Now, what's going to happen, or what probably is likely to happen here, is you will have, backbenchers in their constituencies or in their counties calling meetings of Fianna Fáil folk, the grassroots councillors, maybe senior reps within the party, and they'll chair a meeting, I'd imagine, and say, what is the story here? What do you think of the direction of the party? What do you think of the leadership of the party? And I would say they'll be guided by it. Now, I'm sure that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen in Donegal. I don't know one way or other, but it's going to happen around the country, right? And, these backbenchers, they don't do a solo run. They're going to make sure they've polled the people important to them in the party. And the thing about that process is Micheál Martin will get wind of that, of course, and then he has to decide. And I think there is an article in the one of the papers that we don't get. It's the Cork-based paper, The Examiner, isn't it? Whereby he said he will stay on, he will resist any heave, he will be Tánaiste in 2 years' time. So he, at this point, is saying, no, it doesn't matter what's going on. But that being said, if he gets wind of a series of meetings in constituencies around the country whereby not just backbenchers, but rank and file, councillors, etc., saying, right, okay, we need a different direction, he will have to make a decision. And I have a feeling he'll want to make that decision himself. But we shall see. We shall see. I just think things will move quite quickly in that regard. I would not bet on Micheál Martin being the leader of Fianna Fáil by Christmas, for an example. But again, the on the ground sense might be that he's doing a good job, and the backbenchers aren't going to necessarily break away from what the feeling on their own ground is. Anyway, let's read on here. Where did I pick up from? Yeah, the timing of such a move, a vote of no confidence, that is, if it comes, may depend on a bad run of polling or a range of other issues which could destabilise the Taoiseach further. I think it is more serious than previous attempts, said one minister. Let's go to the Irish Independent now. And how many people would you say opted out of the organ donation scheme, right? So there's millions and millions of people in this country, of course, and there was quite a push on, and we got quite a lot of texts from people saying, I'm opting out. I don't want to be donating by default. Well, the number that have opted out is, I suppose it's high, but it's low. It's 55,000, which is far less than haven't. So more than 55,000 people have formally registered their objection to being considered as organ donors when they die, new figures reveal. Since the middle of June, new legislation means that when a person dies, it can be assumed they wish to donate their organs to be offered for transplant to another patient, but they are entitled to indicate their objection. The HSE set up an opt-out register for those who do not wish to become organ donors, and up to the end of September, 55,241 of you had signed it to say they did not want to be considered donors when they die. From mid-June to the end of June, 40,888 people joined the opt-out register, followed by another 10,858 in July. The number of people joining fell to 2,738 in August and to 757 for most of last month. So I would say it tails off. I would say there's quite a number of people who says, right, I'm going to opt out, and then sort of the days run into weeks and weeks run into months, and they haven't. And I'm not trying to encourage it, but inevitably people will be reminded by me reading this article today and probably do it. I wouldn't be surprised. No, I'm going to stick on it, I think. If I can help anyone else in the past, I can't take anything with me, can I? If the truth be told. So what difference does it make if I'm dead? On to the Irish Daily Mail now, and Europe accuses Ireland of being soft on hate speech. Would you have imagined we're soft on hate speech? A new report by the Council of Europe that found hate speech is widespread in Ireland has put fresh pressure on the government to bring forward legislation. Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan previously ruled out introducing controversial hate speech laws after plans were shelved by previous Minister Fine Gael's Helen McEntee following opposition from the government TDs and from the public, if the truth be told. Mr O'Callaghan has stood firm on the issue despite the threat of legal action from the EU if Ireland does not enforce European laws on hate speech. Yesterday, the Council of Europe's anti-racism body, the European Commission Against Racism and Intolerance, claimed the measure was necessary on hate speech because it remains widespread in the Republic. It called on Ireland to adopt legislation measures aimed at specifying and clearly defining in criminal law expressions of hate speech that are subject to criminal liability, in particular incitement to hatred, violence or discrimination, anti-immigration rhetoric was of particular concern to the report's authors. So this could be back on the agenda again. I think some of the problem with this legislation is that I don't think anyone really wants people to be hated just for the sake of being hated or to have to endure hate speech. The problem here is that people wish to be able to express a genuinely held point of view or something that aligns with the way that they think, that if they did express that view, it would not be seen as hate speech. So it wouldn't be designed to target a group or hate on a group. But then again, you have to sort of categorize who are the groups. What are the groups as well? And none of that was decided. When the conversation was being had in this country, it was like you couldn't say anything about anyone or else you'd be classed, or it would be classed as hate speech. That went up the line and ministers realised that this was a hiding to nothing. But if they are going to do it, they'll want to do it relatively early in government so that people get used to it, in inverted commas, by the time the next election rolls around. We shall see, but Europe putting the pressure on Ireland. The Irish Daily Mail, Gaza's fragile ceasefire was on the brink of collapse last night after Israel launched fresh attacks on the Strip and aimed amid claims Hamas breached the deal. Health chiefs in the territory said at least 2 Palestinians were killed as the sound of tank fire and explosions rang out and locals were braced for more raids. Benjamin Netanyahu accused Hamas of violating the peace accord by claiming a coffin handed over on Monday contained the wrong deceased hostage. It said the body parts belonged to another captive who was recovered earlier. And the difficulty here is that, before we move on to the difficulty, it's actually 33 people that were killed and 1 IDF soldier was shot. But I mean, how that they are, I presume, I would hope they're trying to return hostages, but obviously they have to dig through rubble, and that's difficult to do under the threat of airstrike. Donald Trump says nothing is going to break this ceasefire. He's presumably going to let Hamas do what he deems a proportional response and then say, right, lads, enough is enough. Another question, how many women would you say are in prison? It's a record number, 2,000, 3,800. It's 301, and that is a record number. A record number of female prisoners are currently jailed in Ireland, and the figure is expected to increase in the coming months. Last Monday, there were 301 females in custody between the Duchess Centre in Mountjoy and the Limerick Women's Prison, the largest number on record. There were also a further 124 female prisoners out on temporary release because of overcrowding in both jails. The latest data from the Irish Prison Service showed there were 219 prisoners in the Mountjoy Women's Prison, with 33 of them sleeping on mattresses. The prison is currently running at 150% over capacity. Clearly not enough space there. And good news for fans of President Michael D. Higgins, and I hope people who actually aren't fans of his. He's back in the Irish. He's back in Iris and Urkdown yesterday after receiving treatment for an infection. The 84-year-old was treated in St. James Hospital, Dublin. A spokesperson said President Higgins would like to express the thanks to the medical staff who treated him and to all those members of the public who sent their best wishes to him over the course of his brief stay in hospital. President Higgins travelled to the hospital by arrangement on Sunday and stayed in to receive treatment for 2 nights. I think he got intravenous antibiotics, but he's out and back at his desk, we are told. Brilliant news, actually, from the sporting world, and it's not the fact that Brendan Rodgers has gone from Celtic, although some might see that as brilliant news. Martin O'Neill's in his place, by the way. They're 8 points behind Hearts. You know, you can't finish third in a 2-horse race, and that's unfortunately what Celtic are in danger of doing. It'll be interesting to see if he can turn that season around. But the actual good news is Ireland are through. Abby Larkin hailed Ireland for never giving up, and Katie McCabe got the drinks in as the girls in green booked their World Cup qualifying spot in League A. An amazing achievement. After Carla Ward's side fell 2-0 behind to Belgium by half-time, Crystal Palace star Larkin came off the bench to net a last-minute aggregate clincher that had them celebrating despite defeat on the night. It was a huge goal, a huge result for the ladies, and they are now have booked their World Cup qualifying spot in League A. Brilliant achievement. 086 60 25,000 if there's anything in there you want to comment on, or if there's an issue you wish to raise. Maybe it's something in your life that you need our assistance, something in your community, a group that you're part of. Maybe something positive's happened to you. You want to spread some good news. Maybe there's been a great local achievement. Anything at all, the numbers are there for you. 086 60 25,000, WhatsApps and texts, or that telephone number for you, 074 91 25,000.
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
Atlantic Technological University will hold 2 open days on the Letterkenny campus on Thursday the 6th and Saturday the 8th of November from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Enjoy a warm welcome from lecturers, support staff and students, and tour the expanding campus to experience the vibrant atmosphere that makes ATU unique. Explore the incredible facilities and wide range of programs on offer, including 2 brand new degrees in physiotherapy and veterinary medicine and surgery. Discover the fantastic career opportunities, student supports and student life that ATU can offer you. Find out more at atu.ie/open days. ATU, your future is here.
Why wait till December? Get Christmas sorted early at Irwin Expert Electrical. The latest Apple and Samsung tech, a Sage coffee machine, even a Dyson or Shark hair care treat. Secure it now with our free Christmas club. Spread the cost, lock in the price, and we'll store it till you're ready. No stress, no panic, just smart shopping made easy. Irwin Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
At Hidden Hearing, we believe you should keep hearing it all. Keep dancing. Keep celebrating. Keep laughing. Keep being you. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie and book a free hearing test today. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
Discover amazing deals at Floyd's Restaurant, Ballymagori, Strabane. Enjoy a 2-course menu for £19.95 Monday to Friday, €1 for pound night Wednesday and steak night Thursday. Sunday carvery from 12:30 to 3:30. Party packages and function rooms available. Call 02871 382905 to book.
When it comes to your retirement, our experts at Fairstone Letterkenny can help you make the most of your pension, secure your future, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Don't make any decisions until you've spoken to a qualified financial planner. Visit fairstone.ie or call our Letterkenny office today on 074 91 24002 and take the first step towards securing your financial future. John F. Lowy and Associates Limited, trading as Fairstone, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
19 minutes past 9. Welcome back to the programme. Seamus Dooley is NUJ Assistant General Secretary. He joins me on the programme now. Good morning, Seamus. Thank you for your time.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Right, people would know that the old sort of system, the old meetings, the partnerships between the council and the Gardaí have changed, and we have new policing committees. But there is concerns about, I suppose, public access, because when you talk about restricting journalism or journalists from access, you're restricting the public from access. So what is proposed and what are the concerns?
Yeah, I suppose first thing to say is that the policing committees, as we know them, are gone, and they've now been reformed as local community safety partnerships. And the significance of that is that they're a wider base involving HSE and TUSLA, as well as local authorities and councillors. TDs will no longer attend. That's a minor change in some respects. But the minister announced in June that this was a new, transparent approach to community safety, more inclusive. And then last week, the regulations were issued, recommendations to each of these joint partnerships. And bizarrely, it included a clause which said that, under 10.4, it simply said that it raised the possibility of media attendance, and it made provision for the discretion as to whether the media attend. And if media are to attend, they need to make a request to the chair. Up to now, there's been a presumption that journalists could attend. But then, bizarrely, in my view, it went on to say that for the first year, it's recommended that in order to allow things to bed down and allow the partnerships to develop their plans, that the media should be excluded, and that at the end of the year, there's 6 meetings a year, and that you should consider allowing media to 3 of them. So that's the long answer.
Yeah, but it makes no sense at all, because you could have a situation whereby a councillor steps out of that meeting and does an interview with their interpretation of it. A resident could head out of that meeting and post a blog on social media, and you have journalists sitting at home, sitting on their hands. I don't see any logic to it at all.
No, I think there are a few issues there. I mean, first of all, rewind the intention. This is not some sort of private quango. This is a partnership made up of experienced community leaders who are put forward for this, police who are very experienced there because of their seniority, and then organisations like HSE and TUSLA, the importance of which we clearly don't need to explain to your listeners. And they are there acting in the public interest. The notion that that they should communicate decisions is dealt with by saying that after private meetings there would be an agreed statement. Well, agreed by who? Drafted by who? So that doesn't make sense. I also think that if you're talking about, and I've no reason to doubt the minister's sincerity on this, that you are talking about something which has buy-in, then you and I both know that the way you actually encourage people to take ownership of a project is that actually they know about it and that they feel part of it. Exclusion is a guarantee of rumour, of speculation. And there's a particular concern, I think, to say that while we make our plans in year 1, we'll exclude the media, but we might let them in meet 2 and 3. I would have thought that the more logical way to get community support for this initiative and citizen support would be to have public access and shine a light while the plans are being developed, rather than deciding that you might let the media in year 2 or 3. It's very much reminiscent of the old style yes minister approach to freedom of information, which is famously advocated by Jim Hacker. I don't think that Jim O'Callaghan is Jim Hacker, but I think he needs to look at this. I suspect that not a lot of thought has gone into it. I think it's a departure from the principle of transparency, and it drags us back to the old days. 40 years ago, I was a regional newspaper editor and reporter, where councils regularly went into committee and made decisions in private. I thought we had moved away from that. This seems to be dragging us back to those days. Yeah,
those are very frustrating days, it has to be said. And especially in this day and age where, there is greater, I think, more sort of inquisitiveness or intrigue from the public on matters that deal with An Garda Síochána. Policing is a big issue up here. The way the HSE can impose decisions rather than than being done through in a public way. That's how people can feel sometimes. There's question marks over TUSA as well. It really just will make the public go, well, what's going on here? It's really, more suspicious and damage the organisations I've just referenced more than they are already, potentially.
Well, yeah, I think what's important is that there are undoubtedly times when it is appropriate to have a private conversation. And Oireachtas committees, for instance, go into private session before or after their public hearings. Local authorities do the same. And I think I can imagine there are circumstances where the HSE or Triscliffe, for instance, or indeed police, may wish to give a briefing to the committee in private. That can be dealt with. There is no issue there. Mm-hmm. There should, however, be a presumption that meetings will be held in public, and this report suggests that there is a presumption that meetings will be held in private. The very notion that it is discretionary means that, in theory, the partnerships could decide that they're going to have all of their meetings in private for the entire term of office. That would be perfectly consistent with the guidelines now published.
Okay, we'll watch on. What happens from here? Obviously, the NUJ making their representations. Have you had any feedback from the minister? Or?
Well, I only wrote this emerged yesterday, and I think one point I would make is that government, through Commission Naman, are actually funding a local democracy scheme to encourage greater coverage of local authority and community and regional government bodies. So there's an irony in this. This runs contrary to that. The story first appeared in the Journal, to give the Journal their credit, and that story was written by a democracy reporter funded by the Commission reporting scheme. In theory, that reporter might be excluded from meetings of the Partnership Committee. We have written to the Minister. I've also asked Local Ireland, which represents the regional newspaper titles, and Newsbrands Ireland, to make representations on behalf of the print industry. I would also be talking to representative body of regional radio stations, and when the Dáil resumes next week, we will hope that this will be raised on the order of business. I've been contacted by a number of regional newspaper journalists in particular about this issue. It is of concern to regional journalists, to newspapers, to radio stations, but this isn't about journalists just wanting to stick their nose in or being nosy, perfectly legitimate activity, but it is actually about the ownership of public bodies by the taxpayer. I don't believe that the members of these partnership bodies need the protection of the chair or some sort of secrecy provision. They are experienced public officials. They are having discussions in the public interest. They should take place in public.
Okay, Seamus, thank you very much for your time. Seamus Dooley, NUJ Assistant General Secretary. A few of you texting in on organ donation. A caller says, I've always wondered if someone in their 70s passes away suddenly, is someone of that age, is organ any good for donation, or is organ donation only for people under a certain age? I'm older now and often thought about organ donation, but just wondering if my organs are too old. Well, my understanding is that it's not about the person's age, it's about the condition of the organ, and there are cases that I've read in the past of people in their 90s that have donated organs. I'm not sure if it's the exception or the rule, but it's about the condition of the organ. And, I think if it's a match and it's in reasonable condition and it might save somebody else's life, you kind of wouldn't cherry pick, would you? But there is no age. It's about the condition of the organ rather than the age of the person that might be donating it. You could have a perfectly healthy kidney, for an example, I presume. One of the most selfless acts in a time of deep grief is to give the gift of life to another person. Please donate your or your loved one's organs and give someone else a chance to live. I'd be curious as to why. You see, there are people of a certain political persuasion, because, and I'm only saying this is because these are the spaces that I heard it from, that were discouraging people from giving their their organs because it was like the government taking ownership of them, right? So that's. But really, I've been in an emergency department where a doctor approaches you and asks you this question. It's not Micheál Martin or Simon Harris there. These are our medical professionals on a ward at a time saying, look, what do you think? What was the deceased person's wishes, etc., right? So, this idea that Dara O'Brien's in there trying to rip the organ out of someone is not. I trust the medical professionals, and it's they that's in charge of it. But 55,000 people did, and I would really be curious to wonder why you did. And I'm asking it out of curiosity because I'm not motivated to opt out, and I probably wouldn't be if the truth be told. Because as I say, once I'm dead, I'm dead, and I'm more interested in whether I'm going to be buried or be cremated rather than whether I'm, some parts of me are extracted to help somebody else. But if you did opt out, why did you opt out? Genuinely, and it's as I say, it's a curiosity. It's not to challenge it or question it. It's a personal decision. It's your body. Whatever you do with it, right? That's up to you. But why, if you did opt out, did you opt out? WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 and let us know if you want to, of course.
What difference can changing your home heating make? Well, if you switch from oil to Keller gas, it's a bigger difference than you think. Because every new Keller customer gets a blend of our renewable gas, bio-LPG. Works like regular gas but with lower emissions. So now every cosy night in and instant hot shower is that bit cleaner, greener and more sustainable. Switch today and you'll also get a free boiler. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more at kellergas.ie. Keller, the energy that connects us.
October is here and things are getting spooky at your local Maple store. Stock up on all your favourite autumn snacks, warm treats and Halloween goodies. And don't forget to call in store to collect your Halloween colouring competition sheets for a chance to win spectacular prizes. Visit Maple Express Burton Port, Derrybeg, Ballyliffin, Moville or your local Maple store. Keeping it fresh, local and convenient. Follow your local Maple store on Facebook for more.
The Ready Set Ford 261 sales event is on this November. Discover incredible savings across our Ford Pro commercial vehicle range. From our electrified plug-in hybrids like the Ranger and Transit Custom to productive vans like the Transit, Courier and Connect. With up to €6,650 of savings towards your new 261, there's never been a better time to drive a new Ford. Visit Ford.ie or your local Ford dealer by 30th of November. Ready, Set, Ford. T's and C's apply. See Ford.ie for details.
I need somebody to love.
Big deals are now on at Dreams. I bet you beds are excited.
Oh yeah, we're bouncing.
Until Tuesday, save 20% off all bed frames when bought with a mattress.
But don't hang about. You snooze, you lose.
Dreams. Let us find you a bed that loves you back.
Our McCullough Jewelers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware. With stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre or online at ourmccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice, whatever the occasion. Our McCullough Jewelers, making moments magical for generations.
Right, okay, our next topic. I mean, are we completely losing the run of ourselves, or is this an appropriate move? We'll put it to you, the listeners. Students at the University of Sheffield have, we're told, been given a trigger warning about themes of violence and murder in the Bible pertaining to Christ's crucifixion. English literature students have been issued with a content notice advising them that the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John contain graphic bodily injury and sexual violence. Roger Kiska is legal counsel for the Christian Legal Centre, and he's with me now. Good morning to you, Roger. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. Pleasure to be on with you.
I just, this just seems to me really bizarre, but I'm open to be sort of influenced on it. I've never really considered it, and I never thought I had to, but yet here we are. What's your view, Roger?
My view, it's a multifaceted view, but at the very base, you look at other parts of culture. Like we have LGBT and transgender cartoons being, shown in primary school. Do we put trigger warnings on that? We have violence in the Quran. Do we put trigger warnings on that? Why Christianity? We have rap songs which glorify violence, demeaning women. We don't put trigger warnings on that. So I think the decision makers need to own their own prejudices. They need to show the same level of tolerance that they demand of everyone else for the things they hold sacred. And we need to figure out how education has gotten into such a position that we have young adults who need trigger warnings for the scriptures and the redemptive message of Christ on the cross.
Yeah, one thing, and listen, I haven't read the Bible back to back, right? But obviously been exposed to it throughout my life. I don't reference any sexual violence as part of the crucifixion story. Sorry, I don't remember any sexual violence as part of the crucifixion story. That seems to be like a narrative that's being applied here.
There's absolutely no sexual violence. I mean, it's absurd to even suggest that, and they should read the Gospels before they put a trigger warning on it. Uh, you know, perhaps they watched the Mel Gibson movie, and that's where they've got this idea of gore. The Gospels are beautiful. My old professor of theology learned Greek as an atheist, reading the Gospel of John and translating that, and became a believer just from that. There's a powerful redemptive message. It gives meaning to a society which is searching for it, and we shouldn't be providing trigger warnings for it, plain and simple.
It's just, I just do wonder, the generations that are coming through, if the trigger warning is there supposedly because some students might find such details difficult. This is historical information. It's been around for years. I do wonder, and I've had concerns about, raising children into young adults and their ability to deal with the realities of life and what have you. If this is just going down a very dodgy road. Resilience is a big problem already. And what is this saying is if we feel that fully grown adults, young adults be that, can't negotiate this story.
I would honestly say probably look at the Instagram feeds of any number one of these young adults and tell me that what they have in those feeds isn't worse than what's in the scripture, minus the salvific message there and the message of God loves you and would have his only son die for your sins. I question that too, how we can get to university and not even be able to read that. You look at the Greek and the Roman classics, they're filled with, violence, whether it's Homer or any of the classics. Why is this any different other than that there's a cultural prejudice and intolerance towards Christianity?
Well, I want to tease that out with you a little bit more, but just to frame this even further from my perspective, to be honest with you, and I could be talking about anything. It's not just because it is the Bible, but I would be astonished if not every single one of these students who's on X didn't see Charlie Kirk being assassinated live, effectively. Do you know what I mean? Or exposed to that. For an example, you can't tell me that they didn't. And also, I would be concerned if anyone who wouldn't know basically what you're likely to see in the Bible. The same as, even a Christian might have some sense of what's in the Quran. Like, for instance, I don't want to pick on any other religions, but there are themes in other religious works that are really, really quite troubling, if you know what I mean. But why Christianity then? And I'll just ask you to suppose on that, because you talked about sort of maybe policing or what have you. Why do you believe these trigger warnings are based on this book?
Well, I do think there's a cultural prejudice, an intolerance and discrimination towards Christianity that's accepted because it's an easy punching bag. So it allows us to protect every other sacred cow in culture by saying, well, look, I mean, we are saying that there is problems. The Gospels are remarkable in that we get to see the suffering of Christ on the cross, and that is his expression of love for us and that message. And I think it goes part and parcel with the Gospels. You can't have the Gospels without the crucifixion. I mean, that is our salvation.
So is sometimes, and it's not just in terms of Christianity, you see it elsewhere. Are we overreaching to say that this is sort of part of a very subtle potential attack on Christianity, in that over time it creates this story that Christianity is based on violence and fear, and that it's those that follow it are in some way that way inclined. Is it like death by 1,000 cuts, if you know what I mean? Is this a subtle attack on Christianity? Is that how you would see it?
Yeah, I mean, University of Sheffield, first of all, is pretty notorious for anti-Christian behavior. So Felix Nagoli had his case there, and he's in another case right now at the court of a employment appeal tribunal today. So he was removed from his studies there for quoting scripture about homosexuality and same-sex marriage debate. They said, you're not fit to be a social work student because you hold these beliefs. And it took the Court of Appeal to say, look, holding and expressing a belief is protected. It's not discrimination. And now in another case, an employer who withdrew a job offer when they discovered his views on, those social media posts, and it's created a litmus test saying if you're Christian and believe these things, you're not allowed to work in certain professions. I think it's very dangerous. It's very undemocratic, and it shouldn't be in Europe at all.
Right, okay. Well, I hope these students don't listen to Sabrina Carpenter's latest single, or they'll never recover. They might not survive that at all. Okay, listen, it's an interesting story. Thanks very much indeed for that. That's Roger Kiska, legal counsel for the Christian Legal Centre. So students at the University of Sheffield have been given a trigger warning about themes of violence and murder in the Bible, mostly focused on Christ's crucifixion. And it talks of graphic bodily injury and sexual violence. And as I said, I don't recall in my exposure to it, sexual violence ever being a thing, but that was confirmed there by Roger Kiska. Now, in relation to also, there was a couple of comments here that I wanted that were today, because I've got other comments from yesterday. Policing, would the NUJ not be better off investigating the bias pro-establishment reporting from the media broadcasts in TV, radio and print? I think it reached new lows during recent elections. Okay. Another, politics in Ireland is a disgrace, really. Micheál Martin thinks we need a referendum to make sure everyone gets a docket, when he was actually the person imposing the whip which prevented it. People really are fooled by party politics nowadays. I feel sorry for the old Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael supporters. They say, have been betrayed.
Everyone wants to start the new year on the right foot. At iMotors, we start with our foot on the accelerator. Welcome to 261 at iMotors. Available in the Kia lineup, we have the Kia Picanto, the new Stonic, the new K4 hatchback, Kia Niro, the Donegal best-selling car Kia Sportage, and the Kia Sorento, available in hybrid and diesel. 0% finance available, 3 years free servicing and a €500 super value gift card. And be entered into our exclusive iMotors 10,000 €10,000 giveaway. Final day is the 23rd of December. Someone will win. Terms and conditions apply. iMotors, the fearless generation.
St Columba's College, Stranraer. Open evening for 6th class primary students and their parents or guardians. Takes place on Thursday the 6th of November at 7 p.m. in the school hall. A copy of the student's birth cert and PPSN is required to complete the application form.
The car that started it all, the Volkswagen Beetle. Built in Bridge back in 1950. Since then, we've come a long way. From first days at school, first loves and first jobs, we've been there rain or shine, and the odd bit of sun. 75 years on, we're still proud to call Ireland home. Your Volkswagen. Love every mile. Celebrating 75 years in Ireland.
Volkswagen. Order your 261 with Connolly's Volkswagen Letterkenny. See the full range at connellys.ie.
Autumn is alive with a kaleidoscope of colour, nature and adventure at National Trust NI. Unwind and relax with a crunchy leaf walk through Llewellyn Garden. Sample the finest seasonal food at Florence Court's Harvest Fair. Gaze into the majestic mirror-like lake at Mount Stewart. And breathe in the beautiful garden at Castle Ward. Or delight with frightful fun on one of our trails this Halloween half-term. Come along and make wonderful memories this autumn. Search National Trust NI today.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Our Christmas shop has now opened for all your festive shopping needs. Explore our extensive range of decorations, bedding and more in our homeware department, in-store or shop online at mcelhinney's.com today.
Sinead Dooley, Head of Public Engagement at AirGrid, talking ahead of an event that's taking place in Donegal in the not too distant future. But I suppose, just to be clear, if you could outline the role of AirGrid in terms of our energy infrastructure, energy conveyance, delivery, etc.
Yeah, first of all, delighted to be on air, to get the opportunity to outline our Energy Roadshow details and to speak to you a little bit about what it entails. So, look, AirGrid are a state agency. We're responsible for the delivery of large infrastructure projects. So we bring the electricity from where it is produced to where it is required. Sometimes we're confused with ESB networks. So I suppose the way that ESB and ourselves differentiate between the two is that we're responsible for the electricity motorways, and they then take the electricity from those motorways and bring them into schools, businesses, farms, hospitals through the local roads network. So I suppose that's the easiest way to describe who EirGrid are and what we do, Greg.
And in terms of this roadshow that's coming to Donegal, I understand this is a part of a series of roadshows. What's the purpose of them, and how significant is it, I suppose, going into the communities, so to speak?
It is, and I suppose this started back in 2022. We did a national consultation, EirGrid, around the future of energy in Ireland. And we heard from industry and communities. A lot of rural communities took part in those engagements and consultations. And it became evident listening to people that they're aware of the need to move away from fossil fuels as our main source of energy to a clean, green energy, from environment, climate action, and in terms of our air quality, Greg, to have that cleaner source of green energy. So people at those events had questions around putting solar panels on the roof of their sheds, around moving maybe from solid fuel cookers to heat pumps, and they wanted to know how they would do that and what it would cost. So EirGrid listened, and we decided to, why not bring all of the key stakeholders together to provide advice and support all in the one place. So that's what the Energy Roadshows are about. So we've been doing it since 2022, and indeed our first ever roadshow was on the Maybank holiday weekend that year in Letterkenny. So we bring ESB networks, Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, and then we're partnered with the local county council in the area. So Donegal Environment Office will be with us. So I suppose what the audience can expect on the night is to, first of all, come in early and meet with the Northwest Energy Agency and other exhibitors who will be there outlining about renewable energies, solar panels, heat pumps. Speak to those experts. It'll be an opportunity to find out about what grants are available to you as an individual to move away from a solid fuel cooker, as I say, or to put those solar panels on your roof. It's an opportunity to speak and ask those questions. There'll also be a panel discussion, which thankfully you're going to compare on our behalf and facilitate, Greg. And it's where the audience will have an opportunity to hear from those experts. We will partake as well to outline a couple of projects that we currently have in the northwest of the country. And as I say, to ESB, Donegal Area Manager will be there to answer questions. And also Isabel, the local Sustainable Energy Communities Mentor in Donegal, will be there as well to speak to communities who have questions, as I say, around what they can do to make their own homes more comfortable, to make their community halls more environmentally friendly. So it's a wide-ranging number of questions we usually get at these events. But as I say, it's an opportunity to ask the questions, hear from the experts, and find out the information that you require.
As you mentioned, with the players that will be there, EirGrid yourselves, the ESB networks, the SEAI, and I suppose that, and you've already referenced this, the conversation about, cleaner energy, our responsibility in terms of improving the climate, but people are also exposed to sort of global matters. A lot of influence from America, drill baby drill. Cutting incentives for electric cars. Coal-fired stations being built in other part of the world, and then we feel like a little tiny island. Do you believe sort of that's sort of a temporary political sort of a blip? Do you think it will have any impact on trying to get that green energy, that climate message across to the people of Ireland?
Well, of course, with all of the noise in media globally at the moment, and with everybody's easy access to social media, it's very difficult for people now, and I find myself, to differentiate between what's AI generated, what's reality anymore. It's very difficult for people, as you say, to understand what difference can we, as a small island, have as an impact in terms of global change at that level. But I would say to people, bring it down to a local level. If the invasion by Russia in Ukraine taught us nothing else, it taught us the importance of having an independent, robust, resilient electricity supply to this island. And one of the ways in which we can do that is to bring more renewable green energy onto the grid. So when we speak of that, you're speaking of offshore renewable energy, which we're central to in Ireland at the moment, but also your solar panels that we see emerging in the country, your wind farms. Now, all of those renewable initiatives require a sustainable grid to bring them, as I say to you, where the power is generation to where it is needed. So the only way that Ireland is going to insulate itself from future energy crisis is if we are in a position to have, as I say, our own independent renewable supply of energy. It will not only give us that security of supply and resilience, but it will also in time help us to drive down and be able to manage our costs better as well. So look, I, like you, thought as well from a personal level, what difference does it make to me? And if we look at it in the global level, we seem small and insignificant. But, you know, I would say to people as well, bring it into your own homes. My parents moved away from fossil fuels onto a heat pump last year because they're getting elderly, because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't what impact they were going to make on the global crisis. It was literally, how do I, as I move on in years, make my home more comfortable, warmer, and less about relying on fossil fuels and having to bring in your fossil fuels out of the shed. And it was about your home comfort, your quality of air. People have come back across the country and said that when they moved away from fossil fuels, they, you know, anybody with lung infections or with asthma and other lung-related illnesses have found a significant difference as well in their own health. So
there is a lack of knowledge actually out there as to what you're breathing in front of an open fire, because the focus is primarily about what goes out the chimney. But it's an interesting point you make. Often the point is made as well, and as you would know, we'd have a lot of wind turbines in Donegal, the northwest, for an example. But people would make the argument that we're not able to utilise that electricity. You know, we're not storing it well when the wind's blowing, and we don't have access to it when the wind is not blowing, or that, you know, we have difficulties with the network in terms of getting that power to homes and how much might be lost on the way. So what is the reality there in terms of how well we are utilising the green energy that we're creating at the moment? And if it's not where it needs to be, when will it be?
If I had the answer to when will it be, my role title would be a very different one, Greg. But joking aside, that is a factor. It is something that has been looked at again globally, not just in Ireland, because the ideal situation would be in terms of having large storage batteries. We're not at a fully developed stage in the country in that regard yet. So we have huge amounts of wind, and there are times when people will see that the turbines are not turning, and it's when, as you say, the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, but also when there's too much wind that they have to be turned down for operational reasons. So, you know, that's an area that our control centre and EirGrid monitor on a daily basis. We are improving as a country in terms of finding new innovations around those large energy storage areas, but you know, we're certainly not utilising all of the energy that we currently have, but that is evolving as well as we look at new technologies coming on board and as we look at better ways of using that energy. There's an initiative in Ireland at the moment, and it's something that's kind of been piloted in urban centres, and it's something that ideally we'd like to see rolled out on a broader level. And it's where the excess energy is stored. There are meters on people's home, as I said, it's in large urban centres, obviously for operational reasons at the moment, in Dublin particularly, but that at night time, that excess energy is filtered into homes that have these meters, and that you wake up with a warm tank of water. So as I said, there's initiatives like that are being looked at continually, and it's something that I do see that we will make huge improvements in new technologies and new innovations in the years to come.
I'm listening to you in terms of what might drive down electricity costs. And, you know, there's an awful lot of coverage at the moment about the wholesale price versus the retail price and what have you. And I know you talked of the fact that if we become more independent, we embrace green energy more, that might be maybe a way to close that gap. But the national commentary I've been hearing recently is not that that's how we're going to do it, but a further interconnector from Spain Spain is how we're going to do it. Now, I'm not saying that's EirGrid's position, but that's what was being sort of framed, or how it was being framed on national media recently. Do you agree with that? Do you concur, or do you find it frustrating that perhaps maybe your message is not getting out there, and it's actually quite the opposite, that experts, in inverted commas, see our connection to other countries as the solution to meeting our power needs, or in fact reducing power costs?
Look, I think that's a debate for a whole different day, and that's not abdicating. I mean, we have an interconnector that we're currently building between Ireland and France at the moment. I read the same media reports that you read in terms of looking at other interconnectors. Spain is one that's been mooted, but they're still developing a memorandum of understanding between two countries. So that's at a level that's quite removed from where we're currently at. Yes, it's something we will look to, obviously, in the future. But our immediate needs in this country, and hitting our climate targets of 80% renewables by 2030, needs to be in the projects that we currently have on hand to deliver. We have over 400 projects on our books in EirGrid at the moment that are being delivered throughout Ireland. A lot of them are reinforcements of the grid, but many of them are the need for new circuits that we have currently looking at in Donegal and Sligo, and we have a public consultation open on that at the moment. You know, yes, there is a need between an interconnection between Ireland and Europe, and they're being explored, but I think that's where we lose people in the debate, and you're quite correct. So for us to try and get the immediate message out to people of the need to, you know, that reliable security of supply, that need to drive down costs, you know, we need to focus on the work at hand. It's a pipeline of projects being done at the moment. We can only deliver those projects with the cooperation of landowners and communities the length and breadth of Ireland. So as head of public engagement, that's my focus. I have a team of engagement specialists, of community liaison officers, of agriculture liaison officers who are 24/7 on a daily basis working with communities and landowners to try and get that message through, that if we want electrification of our transport, if we want electrification of our heat system, if we want to be able to have a clean electricity when we flick a switch in this country, we need to build the infrastructure, and we need the support of communities and landowners to do that.
And it is kind of interesting, and this is what will bring us back to the event, the Energy Citizens Roadshow in the Central Hotel, Donegal Town, on Thursday, November 6th from 6:15 p.m. You know, we'd speak to quite a lot of businesses on this programme or other programmes on Highland Radio, Sinead, and some of the most successful businesses are businesses that didn't necessarily have to be convinced into the benefits of solar or insulation or all that type of stuff. Is they actually saw the benefits of it and tied it into the business plan and are leading the way out on that. And I suppose it's really getting that mindset into the public's mind. You know, how does it benefit me? How does it make my house warmer? You know, how can I also feel that I'm contributing to try and improve the environment for those that come behind me, the climate, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, there are those that have got it already, and I suppose roadshows like this are trying to help others over the line.
Absolutely, and you've put it very well there, Greg. And I mean, that is the whole thought process behind bringing this Energy Roadshow around the country, because, as I say to you, people were asking those questions and finding it difficult, I suppose, to find the answers to them on occasions. And a lot of them, unless you're IT savvy or indeed that you have a good broadband connection or good satellite dish, it's difficult to find and manoeuvre your way towards finding all of that information online. So that's exactly the thought process behind this. And as you say, you know, businesses are doing this, and indeed I'm attending the Letterkenny Chamber of Commerce Awards on the 7th in Donegal, and there on that night you will hear from a number of businesses who have embraced sustainability, who are looking at those cost-saving measures, who are introducing small initiatives on a daily basis to drive down their own operational costs and to do their part in terms of that environmental change. Look, I suppose it's like everything. It takes time for people's mindset to change. It takes time for us to introduce new policies. And if you look back, I mean, who would have thought 20 years ago or 25 years ago that smoking would be prohibited indoors in public houses and restaurants. Who would have thought that we'd be bringing our plastic bags, that they'd be going out of introduction. We'd be paying to use a plastic bag. You'd be bringing sustainable bags with you when you went shopping. It's all a change of habit, a change of mindset, and in time we'll see the benefits to it. But it's something that we really clearly have to get the message out there to people, using yourselves and local radio and this one-to-one contact with communities and business and landowners, that we really need to drive the message home, the personal benefits to people, and then collectively the impact that will have on our environment.
All right, it's the Energy Citizens Roadshow. It's in the Central Hotel in Donegal Town on Thursday, November 6th, running from 6:15 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. For now, Sinead Dooley, Head of Public Engagement at EirGrid, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Greg, and I look forward to seeing the people of Donegal at the event.
Morning to you. How are you all keeping? I hope you're very well.
Hello, darling. Hope you've started packing.
Mum.
We're dying to see you this Christmas. The tree's up already.
Mum, I don't know how to say this.
What's wrong, pet?
I can't come home this year. It's just too expensive.
Oh, sweetheart. We'll miss you.
Sometimes life keeps us apart. But at Highland Radio, no matter where you are in the world, this year we want to make Christmas extra special for one lucky family. We want to bring a family home for Christmas. You can nominate yourself or a loved one. Visit highlandradio.com to submit your nomination. Let's bring families together this Christmas.
The Letterkenny Halloween Fest is on this Friday the 31st with spooktacular fun for all the family. Dress up for the CDP's Fancy Dress competition and get on the Shop LK Trick or Treat Trail between 1 and 3. There's storytelling, a Halloween Fest parade down Main Street and so much more all afternoon from 12:30. This Friday. You dare not miss it. Brought to you by Shop LK.
Thinking about changing your car? Making the change is easier than ever at Kelly's Toyota, thanks to Toyota Approved Used. Choose from our extensive range of used passenger and commercial vehicles, including 242 and 251 demo models at great prices. Tested and approved by Ireland's most trusted car brand. All our cars come with a 12-month comprehensive warranty with flexible payment options available. Talk to Kelly's Toyota today. Toyota, built for a better world. Terms and conditions apply.
At Hidden Hearing, we believe you should keep hearing it all. Keep dancing. Keep celebrating. Keep laughing. Keep being you. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie and book a free hearing test today. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
Keep out the cold, cold, cold! And ring Fleming for their full range of garage doors, agri doors, insulated doors, milking parlour doors. Fleming, 91 48 234.
McGowan Hearing, one of the longest established audiologists in the Northwest, now have weekly clinics in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation at one of these clinics or with audiologist Darren McGowan in your own home. Call 07191 00208 or visit mcgowanhearing.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 3 minutes past 10. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. Around 300 jobs are at risk as the parent company of Fastway Couriers enters receivership. Its expected delays and disruptions to deliveries will follow. Fastway operates a depot in Letterkenny. Several Donegal-based businesses that use the company's services have issued statements this morning. CBM Signs in Letterkenny say they'll be appointing a new courier today to continue business as usual, while Fairgrade's Donegal have advised that some delays or disruptions to its usual service may now occur. The NUJ is expressing concern that the bodies being established to replace joint policing committees may hold their discussions in private. JPC meetings were held in public, with Donegal meetings regularly attended by Highland Radio and local newspapers. However, they're being replaced by new local community safety partnerships, which will also bring in the HSC and TUSLA along with other agencies. Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan is promising a new, transparent and inclusive approach, but the guidelines say media attendance is discretionary and suggest that media should be excluded for the first year, at which point a decision to allow them in could then be taken. Seamus Dooley is Assistant General Secretary of the NUJ. He spoke to Greg on today's 9 till noon show.
Oireachtas committees, for instance, go into private session before or after their public hearings. Local authorities do the same. I can imagine there are circumstances where the HSE or Trusscliffe, for instance, or indeed police, may wish to give a briefing to the committee in private. There should, however, be a presumption that meetings will be held in public, and this report suggests that there is a presumption that meetings will be held in private.
Castlefin Councillor Gary Doherty has proposed that Buncrana's successful nighttime economy initiative be extended to the Lifford-Stranorlar Municipal District. Speaking at a recent meeting, Councillor Doherty said the initiative could serve as a blueprint for revitalising evening and late night activity in other parts of the county. Councillor Martin Harley noted that the concept of rolling out the programme on a county-wide basis had also been discussed at a recent Vintners Federation of Ireland meeting. Councillor Doherty says it's time to revitalise the Twin Towns to what it once was.
Absolutely. Look, I grew up in an era and with a generation who, the people that lived in the surrounding hinterlands of Ballybofane, Stranorlar, Castlefin, Killygordon, Glenfin, Convoy, etc., those people would have all travelled into the Twin Towns at the weekend for their night out, for a bite to eat, etc. And look, I think that there's an excellent opportunity here.
Drivers are being urged to avoid the N14 between Ballyholy and Galtanagar. They are attending the scene of a traffic collision. They say no further information is available at the moment. An Irishman in his 50s has died in an explosion at a mine in Australia. A woman in her 20s also died following the blast at the Endeavour mine at Cobber in New South Wales yesterday. The man's believed to be from County Cavan. The Department of Foreign Affairs says it's aware of the case and is ready to provide consular assistance. Police in Derry have seized a number of items following the stop and search of a bus of visiting supporters en route to a sporting event in the Lone Moor Road area on Sunday. Officers from the Foyleside Neighbourhood Policing Team, assisted by colleagues from the Road Policing Interceptors and Operational Support Department, intercepted the vehicle in Strabane and carried out the searches, seizing a quantity of alcohol, fireworks and flares. No arrests were made. The vehicle was refused entry to the event. And the sentencing of DJ Carey is due to begin today. It's after the former Kilkenny hurler pleaded guilty to 10 charges of fraud and forgery. He originally faced 21 charges after lying about having cancer and defrauding 13 people between 2014 and 2022. With more, here's courts correspondent Frank Graney.
I suspect a lot of the court's time will be taken up by hearing from the victims, 13 in total. They'll all be given an opportunity to deliver victim impact statements. They're under no obligation to do so, as I understand it. It's been set down for about an hour and a half, and I don't think that the judge will hand down sentence today. He's more likely to reserve that judgment to a later date because of the amount of material that's going to be presented in courtroom today.
Another breezy day with sunny spells and heavy showers, bringing the chance of hail and some isolated thunderstorms. Feeling cool with top temperatures 9 to 11 degrees Celsius in moderate to fresh and gusty westerly winds, strong along coasts. Showers becoming isolated by evening and winds easing. Some showers in northern areas tonight, but otherwise dry and calm. Cold with mist and local frost. Local temperatures lowest at around 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow Thursday cold, starting off with some local mist and frost. Just light southeast breezes, wet and windy with further heavy spells of rain into the early nighttime hours tomorrow. Southeast winds will be fresh to strong and gusty. Gales in coastal areas. Top temperatures on Thursday 11 to 13 degrees Celsius. That's Highland Radio News. Back with headlines at 11. Check all the day's news on highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
The obituary notices this Wednesday morning, October 29th. The death has taken place of Elizabeth Lisbar ní Kinsella, 78, Ashbrook, Strabane, and formerly of Campile, New Ross, County Wexford, reposing at her home. Funeral leaving her home tomorrow morning at 9:20 for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Melmount at 10 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers please to the Foyle Hospice, care of Quigley's Funeral Directors. Family time please from 10 o'clock tonight and on the morning of the funeral tomorrow. Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has occurred of Kathleen Lafferty ní McGee, 481 The Curragh, Killygordon, reposing at the family home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. Family time please from 10 p.m. tonight and on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place of Hugh Joseph Doherty, Paulins Trenta. Removal from the Letterkenny Funeral Home this afternoon at 3 o'clock to repose at the home of Laura Corbett, Drumcavaney, Trenta until 10 p.m. this evening. At the request of the deceased, the wakehouse will be strictly private to family, friends and neighbours tomorrow. Funeral Mass on Friday morning at 11 o'clock in St Columkille's Church, Glendown, with burial afterwards in the family plot in Temple Douglas Cemetery. The death has taken place of Rose Hill, ní Houghton, Port Aline, Kilkenny, Malin. Rose's remains are reposing at her home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:20 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Clay, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time from 10 o'clock tonight. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to Ard Aving Dementia Unit, Carndonagh Community Hospital, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin Funeral Director. The death has occurred of George Noel Donnell, 53, Berry Hill Road, Artigarvan. Funeral leaving his late home tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, followed by a service of thanksgiving for his life in Patrick Parish Church at 11:30. Burial afterwards in Yerney Cemetery, arriving at approximately 2:30. Everyone is welcome to call at the family home today until 10 o'clock. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired, care of Mrs Ruth Hay, Funeral Director, or cheques made payable to Mary Curie or the Macmillan Cancer Support. The death has taken place of Mary McHarn, Drumley, Glenealy. Funeral from her home this morning at 10:15 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Bocken, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed on kildaffparish.com. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Jennifer Woods, ní O'Neill, 14A, Lochbracken Road, Pomeroy, formerly of Lisnarna Road, Parish of Donaghadee. Jennifer's remains are reposing at the family home. Funeral from there this morning at 11:20, going to the Church of the Assumption, Pomeroy, for 12 noon Requiem Mass, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers if desired to Laurel House, Antrim, care of any family member. House private on the morning of the funeral, please. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
We all push things out, but some things are too important to leave until tomorrow. Like your pension. At Irish Life, we make it easy to start today. Try our pension calculator at irishlife.ie. Or if you're ready to start or top up your pension now, talk to your financial broker or advisor. A better life with Irish Life. Irish Life Financial Services Limited, trading as Irish Life, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Irish Life Financial Services is an insurance intermediary tied to Irish Life Assurance for life and pensions.
Welcome back to the programme. Good to have you with us. Why do people constantly complain about the state of our roads, says a listener? And yet yesterday, everyone I met in Inishowen was complaining about the delays caused by improvement road work. Show a little patience, people. There is a bit of a juxtaposition there. Staying with the roads, just been contacted by Edward to say that the road between Ballyholy and Galdonna is now clear. So if you intended to go into that region or that area to visit a shop or a person or what have you, that road is now clear. Caroline, did I leave? Is that mine there just on the corner? That's my fault. My apologies. Greg, congratulations to Catherine Connolly as our new president. I was disappointed to hear Thomas Pringle dismiss the spoiled votes with the comment, "We can't pander to the right-wing people." I used to be a supporter of Thomas, but think he was out of touch on this one. We had a chat with Argrid just before the news there. They're talking about, as we get older, how do we make our houses warmer? But we are more worried about having the money to feed the families. The government would rather spend 50 billion in fines than money for retrofitting. That's a really interesting point you make, because there's one thing dismissing climate out of hand or what we could do, but you're so right there. Because we won't reach our targets, we are likely to be throwing away billions of euro in fines to the EU. And that money actually could be spent to make it more affordable to retrofit homes. So I think that's a really sound point you've made there. Thanks for that. More climate crisis nonsense. We should be using our own natural resources to produce our own energy. There are few things that pollute the planet more than electric vehicles. It's not all about electric vehicles, though. I've gone into someone's new house there recently, and the triple glazing, in underfloor insulation in the walls, insulation in the roof, not a draft or kind, and they barely even had to put their heating on to keep the house warm. It's different from a new build, right? So that's beneficial. The house is warm all the time. It is warm all the time. And they have their heating on far, 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 far less than we have. That makes sense. That is good for the environment. But that's when you're doing a new build. How can the rest of us get there? And, you know, look, in terms of the climate crisis, I mean, look around. You know, the climate is changing. Now, there's no doubt about that. Maybe you'd think it's not to do with burning stuff. But I'm thinking on Hudson, and I'm thinking on Lee and Aaron, and I'm thinking on their kids. And, you know, I don't want to be too selfish on this. I mean, it does seem to be what we are doing is changing the climate very quickly. The climate always changes. But since industrialization, there's been a dramatic change, and we are seeing different types of weather. So I respectfully disagree with you in relation to that. I think we do have to look forward and sort of say, well, what can we do that's a benefit to us, but also, you know, is more respectful of, if you're religious, what God gave us. Turbines on peat bogs are not green anything. The Finns are using sand batteries, not dangerous lithium batteries, but the electricity companies don't profit that way, says a listener. On the issue of religion, seriously, Greg, what will be next? Universities have a stated duty to protect the mental health and well-being of their students. This is where I think we're too protective of young people, and tough living to make you stronger is fast disappearing. The Bible should be treated no differently than other classics that also contain themes of violence and rape. Is every English class who reads Shakespeare given these warnings? I don't think so. To be honest with you. And I do think we are doing everything we can, and we should, to protect the mental health of our children and our young people. But I question whether we're doing it correctly. You know, we've hours and hours of well-being classes. We've never had more supports than we've ever had, yet we've high rates of mental health issues, depression, anxiety in our children. And then, you know, are we forgoing our duty to prep them for the big bad world? So there has to be something to do that helps people, but also doesn't damage them, I think is the easiest way I can put it. In relation to organ donation, it's about having control over my body. That's why I opted out. This government has far too much control over our lives. But as I say, and I respect your point of view, but if you've ever been in that position where you're with someone who is alive but no longer alive, and someone approaches you and says, look, what's the situation with organ donation? They're medical professionals. That is not Simon Harris, Dara O'Brien, Micheál Martin. You know, that is the people who are charged with keeping you alive, and if they can't, keeping someone else alive. I don't see it as the government having any control over my body, but as I say, I'm open to correction. My mind's open on this. A caller says, having been through HSE practices over the years, I do not trust them not to harvest organs. All the scandals, cervical smear deaths, breast check deaths, children with shop-bought screws inserted into them, and children getting unnecessary hip surgery. You're naive, Greg, if you implicitly trust the health system in Ireland. As a whole, I mean, obviously, you know, you've highlighted a number of issues within the health service. I have contact with lots of people working in it, and I'll be honest with you, I will have absolute trust if, God forbid, I collapse here right now and I'm taken down the road to Letterkenny. I'll have absolute trust, and I don't care where anyone comes from or whatever, and I carry that respect. Then in my broader life, I will do whatever they say if it means I don't die. Harvesting organs. To what end, though? I understand where you're coming from. Are you about harvesting organs to sell them on, or harvesting organs to give someone else the opportunity of life? Again, I'm not often called naive, but I appreciate your commentary. But let's tease the convo out a little bit more, because I really do want to learn. Right, now, actually, I got this privately on Facebook, if the truth be told. It's someone who's in a bit of a pickle, and they asked me to read this out. It's a relationship situation. They asked me to read this out in case any of you out there have any information. Now, not information, but advice for them. Now, obviously, there's going to be a knee-jerk reaction to these types of to this type of a contact, right? But let's try and think about it a little bit and think about the realities of living with someone and if sort of it feels like your life has been turned upside down, and how it can be difficult maybe to cut your losses and leave, or whatever it might be. I'll read it as it was written to me. And then if you wish, you can maybe talk of your experience or pass on some advice to this listener who feels very isolated. I know that myself. And the message reads as follows. I'm writing about a discovery that's completely blindsided me and shattered my trust, and I need urgent perspective and advice. My husband and I have been happily married for 10 years, but this week I saw his app history on the Google Play Store. Clear as day, I found that the app Grindr had been previously downloaded to his account. Now, Grindr is a hookup site, a gay hookup site, really, a dating site, I should say. So I don't know how this lady found access to, but you can see apps that have been previously downloaded. So they had access to the app history on the Google Play Store, and clear as day, I found that the app Grindr had been previously downloaded to his account. The app is deleted now, but the download history confirms it was there. This isn't a vague suspicion. It's a concrete fact pointing to, potentially, a big secret. I'm now paralysed with fear and shock. Does this mean my husband is gay, bisexual, even potentially living a double life? I've got no idea how long this has been going on or what it means for our marriage. I haven't confronted him yet. How do I even start this conversation, and what information do I need to prepare for? I feel completely lost and betrayed, and don't even know how I might react if it confirms that it is true. Please, have you any advice to me? So this is a person who seemingly everything was going their way. Very happy marriage, very happy relationship, 10 years together. It hasn't referenced, or they don't reference if there's any children involved, whether that matters or not. But they had access to the app history, the download history on the App Store, and they found the app Grindr, which is a gay dating site. They say the app's not on the phone, though it could be in a secret folder, if the truth be told. You can hide apps for your phone. But anyway, they haven't confronted their other half. They don't know what to do. They're paralysed with fear and shock. They don't know if their husband's gay, bisexual, potentially living a double life, or maybe there's another reason for it. Any advice to our listener? They say they are shattered and blindsided. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number, 086 60 25,000. Or if you want, give us a call on 074 91 25,000, and maybe we can help that person out. All right, good luck if you're playing the bingo today and supporting Vision Ireland. Fair play to you. You really are doing a sterling job in having a bit of fun, and also being in line to win hundreds of euro every day, thousands of euro on a Thursday. There are people picking up pockets of cash on a regular basis. And you're also supporting Vision Ireland. We are one of the and I mean we as the Highland family, not me, are one of the most significant contributors in this region to Vision Ireland. So fair play. You're winning, you're having fun. It's not a club, by the way. You can get your bingo book whenever you like. They're in most retail stores, and join in the fun there.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday the 29th of October. You're playing on the blue sheet for the daily prize of €1,400. The reference number is S18. It's game number 44. The numbers are 23, 1, 57, 34, 82, 29, 81, 84, 87, and finally 54. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
On Saturday, November 8th, Jackson's Hotel Ballbuffet welcomes Dan McCabe, Ireland's rising folk sensation. Blending traditional with soul-stirring emotion, Dan's powerful performances have captivated audiences worldwide. Don't miss this unforgettable night of contemporary Irish folk. Tickets at hotel reception or visit jacksonshotel.ie for details.
Granny, did you hear what I said? If you've been saying, what was that? A bit more lately, it might be time to have your hearing checked. At Connect Hearing, we don't just fit hearing aids, we help you hear life again. From tiny in-the-ear styles to Bluetooth connected devices, we fit the best solution for you. Call 074 911 3296. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Welcome to Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms in Donegal Town. Discover affordable luxury with our bespoke fitted furniture solutions. With almost 30 years of serving Ireland and the Northwest, we're your trusted experts. Visit us Monday to Friday 9am until 5pm and on Saturdays from 9am until 3:30pm. Book your free consultation today on 074 9725 or visit cherrymore.ie. Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, where affordability and luxury combine.
Now, Farming for Nature has announced its 12 new Farming for Nature ambassadors for 25. These exemplary farmers are showing what's possible when we work with nature instead of against it. They're leading the way in recognising the role of nature in supporting a healthy and thriving farm today and for the future. Shawnee O'Bweel is a nature-friendly Irish farmer leading the way in sustainable sheep farming, and he is one of those 12, the 12 disciples farming for Nature ambassadors. Good morning, Shawnee. Thank you so much for calling in to us.
Good morning.
And I suppose, really, to be fair to the wider farming community, I don't think, and it kind of has been framed by the way this has been written out here, I don't think farmers are actively working against nature, are they?
Oh, definitely not. I suppose sometimes there's bad press, I suppose, comes out about farming and what's going on, but in general, like, farmers have to work with what they've got, the landscape that they're farming, and in a lot of cases, in the majority of cases, we have to treat that the right way, or else we won't be farming as well going forward in the next generation.
Yeah. Now, based in Fulcara, you have a sheep and cattle farm spanning 80 hectares. So how do you farm differently? How are you more sort of working with nature in how you farm?
I suppose in the last maybe 10 to 15 years, especially with the Burn project coming on stream down there, those funding was coming from Europe, and it was to do with environmental, I suppose, goals that was on certain types of land. And in the case of that, I suppose my land fell into that. We've had our land, majority of my land, maybe 70-80% of my land would be designated land, either SAC, which is Special Areas of Conservation, or SPAs, which is Special Protection Areas. Now, that would span basically from the top of Muckish Mountain right down to the shoreline, the SPAs along the shoreline for the Corn Creek bird. So basically what I had to do when that scheme came out back 5-6 years ago was to start farming in a different way. And the real thing about, I suppose, the Corn Creek in general and its habitat, and we had to kind of work with instead of going the system that we had before that of, I suppose, intensive farming and cutting maybe 2 crops of silage, and that we had to reduce that and allow the bird a space for him to thrive as well.
Does that mean that you would be able to farm fewer animals? Or you are able to farm, have the same amount of animals, but just do it in a different way?
Well, in the case of the Corn Creek project, they wanted the land closed off for a period from March to August to allow any of the birds that would come, that they would give them the best chance possible. So that in that case, you have to reduce your stock numbers and that there, but then you're being compensated for that by taking part in the scheme. So there's a kind of, it works both ways.
Do you think we're right in doing that? I mean, the Corn Creek obviously is a little bird. It's treated very differently in North Africa than it is here. Is the disruption that you've embraced worth it for the protection of this little bird?
Oh, it has worked in my case, and I'm happy to be part of it. And it was a successful scheme. I suppose the birds originally back maybe 5 years ago nationally was about 180 pairs. It's gone up to now nearly 290 pairs. And, that hopefully that job of work will continue under a new programme.
And have you found yourself, obviously you saw schemes come out there and you saw, what was wanted of you and all that kind of stuff. Have you always had a particular interest in nature, or has it grown through this process?
Now, I suppose my own story, if you go back to the original, when I took over the farm as a 20-year-old back in 1991, there was about 130 ewes on the mountain. Cattle were walked up to the mountain every day. That was the system that was there. I took it over, big ideas. I wanted to go, like, I suppose maybe the people on the good land out, maybe this part of the country or further out. And I started to invest and put whatever money that I was earning into getting bigger and going down the line of different stock types, the whole lot. And as it's happened, I suppose in the last 10 years, I've kind of come full circle. I'm back up on the hill again with a flock of 150 ewes. I've gone down the road of rather than the continental cattle, where I suppose my land type was heavy and they were damaging it in wet periods, and there's more of that happening. I've gone down the road of black Galloway cattle. They're easier on the ground, and they don't need the same, I suppose, quality of grass either.
And what's the market for them?
The market for, as regards the females, would be very good, because there's a demand there for that type of cattle to be used in a sense on conservation grazing, I suppose, which is one of the most obvious. I done that out in Torrey Island with the Corn Creek project, where they went out there and they grazed the land out there that had gone into rank vegetation, and likewise along the coastline in Falkirra. So as regards the females, as I say, the males, you don't get a premium price for the males. They're way behind what you would class as the continental, but you just have to balance out what inputs as well. And that was the decision I took, I suppose, back maybe 10 years ago, that I was putting a lot into the farm and maybe not getting the return at the end of it. And this system now that I've developed is getting a balance, and it's doing a bit for nature as well.
In terms of inputs, what are you avoiding using? I mean, I know there's various inputs right across the scheme, but in terms of nature, what way have you adjusted that would be more friendly to nature?
Well, the two big ones is feed and fertiliser. That's basically the nuts and bolts of farming.
And how do you get the results that are required to maintain your business without using fertiliser?
Well, I suppose it's basically as well the fact that these EIPs, these European Innovation Partnership, these programmes that come in and schemes that have come in, and I know there has been schemes always there, environmental schemes since the 90s, reps and right the whole way through to acres now, but these were very targeted, and they, I suppose, you were getting a better payment because you were doing actions on your land to help to improve the habitat that's there for what's in the case of on the mountains as well. It's a new system now. We're getting scored on the land type up there, so it's up to us as farmers, as opposed to step up to the plate and say, right, what can we do different here to get a better score, better payment?
Do you believe that what you're doing could be done on scale, right? So you've got a particular plot of land and a certain size of a farm, and you can work with that. But I mean, obviously, this is sort of the idea being that there'd be a broad adaptation of this amongst the farming community. Could the farming community as a whole be doing some of the stuff that you are doing, say, for instance, to reduce emissions or damage to land or whatever?
Absolutely. Like, it's happening that some of the ambassadors this year came from arable, came from dairy, so there's, I suppose, two big farming sectors in the country, and they're leaving areas of their farm space for nature, basically. Now, on our side, or in our part of the country, there's a lot of that land type already there. The space for nature is part of our farms. It's just maybe a case of broadening that out and doing works to maybe help and enhance that area.
You're also an early adopter of technology. Talk to me a little bit about some of the technology you employ on the farm.
Yeah, well, that was through, I suppose, the National Parks and Wildlife Service and the collars, the GPS collars on the cattle. That was a trial was done a couple of years ago. So it was. So basically what happens is when you put them cattle to an area, and as it happened, they were on Torrey Island at the time in my own case, I was able to, on the app on the phone, check them on a daily basis where they were in the area and with the. So from that point of view, it helped me. It didn't mean I didn't need to be there, and that's been used a fair bit on the mountains now in Ireland, and it'll be used even more so going forward. So I suppose the person in charge of that was Barry Donoghue from National Parks and Wildlife, and he was one of the people that put myself forward for the award along with John Carey from the Corn Creek project.
Sorry, what is virtual fencing?
So basically, if you take a commonage situation,
Yeah.
and commonage is open land, so on your phone you make a line on the phone to say maybe a 40-acre plot or a 60-acre plot, and then the colours, as the cattle are coming towards that line, imaginary line, they get a sound, a noise first of all,
Yeah.
and as they get closer then they'll get a jag and they turn back, basically. So that's the virtual fencing system.
And is it effective?
Very effective. And I think it could be a game changer for uplands in the country, and just to manage the uplands, because I know it's a hard thing to do to put sheep back onto mountains.
Yeah, for sure. There seems to be a chasm between the decision makers, the policy makers, and all that kind of stuff, and the guys and girls actually on the ground struggling to make a living. How do we close that, do you think? Is it through people like yourself?
I believe it is, and I suppose I've been very vocal on this in the last maybe couple of years, in that, as I said earlier, my system and how I started off and the direction I took that direction purely based on policy, and the policy at the time, and how we were being told to do things. But I think a big part of it is that farmers need to take ownership of this again. A lot of the time a scheme will come into place and we have to follow then, but that scheme hasn't got an imprint from the farmers. And the thing I would see, even I've been part of setting up the founder member of the Irish Nature and Hill Farmers Association, and that was to give a voice to farmers on that type of land. But I know from the meetings we've had over the years that farmers in that area would tend not to speak out. They feel that, I suppose, maybe they took over that farm maybe and they're a lesser than everybody else that's out there. And I think maybe just something I would like to put out there is that their input's invaluable to this process. And I think we need to take ownership of this again, because there's a lot of ecologists, environmentalists, people on the policy side of things coming along and saying you've got to go down this road. And we know from the past that maybe a lot of the roads that we went down, we ended up going there for 4 or 5 or 6 years and then having to take a turn. Now we go a different direction. So I think it's us on the ground that knows our land, knows how to manage our land, and we need to be more vocal about that.
A caller asked a good question. How do you even get on these nature-friendly farming schemes, as they're not everywhere?
No, well, I suppose it depends just where you're located and what type of land you've got in the first place. And is there a habitat there that needs protecting? Is there a bird there that needs protecting? And basically I've been involved in a few of the EIPs myself and helping getting them off the ground. There's a new one is up and running now in Donegal and Mayo called Farm Up, which we're hoping to go at in the commonages to get stuff working there. So it's really down to where you are and what's actually there on the ground that you're farming.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Shawnee, listen, it's been lovely speaking to you. Anything you want to add?
No, just the part there, I suppose, I'd like to thank the Corn Creek Project and NPWS and Barry Dunning in particular for putting me forward for it. It's something I've been doing a fair bit of work on this good number of years, and just I'm happy to, I suppose, push on and maybe keep going and keep at it.
Good stuff. Keep at it. Shawnee O'Brien, nature-friendly Irish farmer, leading the way in sustainable sheep farming. Lovely to chat to you. Thanks for calling over.
Thanks, Greg.
Pick up extra special offers this week at Dunnes Stores. With selected wines like Dada Malbec or Connoisseur and Oyster Bay Sauvignon Blanc, €10 or less. And grab Deal 4 of our 12 deals of Christmas with 18-pack cans of Club Orange, Pepsi Max and 7-Up Zero. Now just €9. Plus, save more with your 10 or 50 voucher. Dunnes Stores. Always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Vouchers can be used on next grocery shop. Excludes alcohol. Please drink sensibly. Deposit return scheme fees apply.
Don't know if you know Alice and Pat. Late 40s, couple of kids. Been together 17 years. Never married, of course, but that's not a problem. Until something happens. And suddenly words like unmarried, inheritance, and substantial tax bill enter the equation. You never need proper estate planning. Until you do. That's why the experienced team at McElhenney & Associates are here to help. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney & Associates Solicitors, Stranraer.
Us pigeons see everything when we're flapping around up here. Well, almost everything. See, burning certain fuels releases invisible toxic pollutants, which can trigger asthma and lead to serious illness. So if you're going to light a fire in your home, make sure to use low smoke fuel. Oh, and never wing it burning rubbish.
Choosing low smoke fuel is better for all of us. Let's clear the air for everyone. And remember to clean chimneys and heating appliances at least once a year. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Change is the only constant in business. So whether you're starting or growing your business, our dedicated business teams will always be here to support you every step of the way. Because the best businesses never stop beginning. Search Bank of Ireland Business. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Donegal Tile Centre's mega Halloween sale is now on, with huge discounts throughout the store. There's wall and floor tiles from as little as €7.95 a square yard. Freestanding baths reduced to €799. Vanity units and basin from €180. And massive reductions of mirrors and accessories. Make your way to Rossview Business Park, Letterkenny, just off the Polestar roundabout, and pick up a real bargain.
All right, you're very welcome back to the programme. Now, DLDC Business Showcase Week is a special event dedicated to recognising and promoting Donegal's newest businesses. All week long, we'll be putting the spotlight on the unique entrepreneurial spirit that thrives right here in our county. The partnership with DLDC, we're thrilled to feature these incredible businesses. Will be, well, I don't know yet. This has been read out for me. This could be an absolute stinker. But anyway, I'm told I'm thrilled to feature these incredible businesses, and we'll be sharing their stories and demonstrating the vital contributions that they're making to our local community. This is why I don't script the show. You can also stay tuned to our socials, where we'll feature promotional videos showcasing the unique services. Now, this is the area I'm more comfortable in. Just speaking. Caroline Crumlish from Ancient Roots Ireland. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thank you. Good.
It's great to have you in. And we've got Claire Lynch of CL Wellness. Hiya, Claire.
Hello, how's it going?
Doing good. Tell us about your business, Claire, CL Wellness.
So I suppose it is a couple of things. I am a one person to many different people from the ages of 5 right up to 65 plus. So I do fitness classes, Pilates, men's, women, and I do teen classes, which would be kind of a mixture of Pilates and yoga. So I am based in Milford and in Termon GAA Club. So that's where my community classes happen. But I suppose the other side of CL Wellness is my niche, which is children's yoga. So that is, that's a special little class where I take my inner child that I have inside me and I take it into a room with other kids, and we just have a great time using our imaginations, get creative, and go on all sorts of magical adventures.
Oh, wow, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, all through yoga.
And is it primarily classes or one-on-one, or is it a mix, or what way?
So it is classes. Now, it can be one-on-ones. It's something that I haven't quite explored yet. I suppose I'm just new, just starting off. So the way you get out there is by offering out the classes and get your word out there. But yes, absolutely one-on-ones. But for now, it is all through classes.
In the area of wellness and the other practices you teach other people or do with them, you have a passion for it yourself, right? That was rooted in you before you made this into a business.
Yeah.
Did you ever doubt that it could be a business, if you know what I mean? Or were those around you that says, look, this is something you care about, right? This airy-fairy stuff you're on about, kids yoga, what are you on about? That's not a business, right? Yeah. I think it's brilliant, by the way, don't get me wrong. But I'm just trying to sort of talk to the supports that maybe even you got from the DLDC to say, no, actually, you know what? I love this, but if you work at what you love, you never work a day in your life, right?
100%.
Okay,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
how did you go from a passion, something you believe in, into actually a business?
I think I had to go on a journey. I spent 16 and a half years in the Mount Ergo Leisure Centre, from where I just started off, as a leisure attendant and worked my way up. So, that started off with doing kids swimming lessons, and that's where it all started. Absolutely loved the kids swimming lessons, had the best fun, and then I just grew then from getting all my qualifications in fitness, and then moving out from the swim lessons into the fitness studio where I was taking classes, and then went on then to manage. And then, you learn quite a lot in that amount of time. Like I just, from where I started to where I finished when I left the Mount Ergo to kind of when I left my last job to where I was when I started this, it was a process. It just took quite a while. But yes, I got to a point where, I'm good at what I do. I have a passion for it. There is a need out there for the likes of particularly kids yoga, especially after COVID. You've seen like what had happened to children who, were told, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to stay here. And then suddenly that creativity, their imagination, all just was it was taken away from them. And I've seen it in my own kids.
And they're getting the benefits and not really realising they are sometimes, I would imagine, as well.
Yeah, 100%.
What again, it's never as simple a journey, but to go from paid steady employment where you know what you're getting each week into a business thing, that would be the trigger I'd find difficult to pull. And I said this yesterday. Did it take you long to build to that, to get to the point whereby you say, well, if there's a risk here, I'm prepared to take that risk, or maybe there was no risk?
100%. This is not for everybody. And I think you sort of need to have a bit of not an attitude, but you need to be a little bit ballsy and not to be afraid to take a risk. So yes, I'm all of that. I didn't realize I was, to be honest with you, but I guess I am. But I had a great support. I mean, my husband at home, from day one, he was just like, what are you doing? You should just go for it. Go do it. You're great at what you can do. There is definitely something there that needs to be tapped into, and you're the one to do it, and just go do whatever you need to do. So yeah, I had a great support system, and I still do. And, if it wasn't for my husband, I definitely wouldn't be here. And obviously for DLDC as well, they have just been fantastic. Colette's just been amazing through this whole process as well.
I'll ask you a little bit more about that, but I want to bring Caroline into the conversation now. And this shows the diversity of sort of DLDC engaged, supported companies, because your business is... it's very specific, obviously, in designing and the materials that you use. Talk to us a little bit about that, Caroline.
So I run Ancient Roots Ireland. It's based just outside Letterkenny. And so I design and make handmade bags and purses made from Donegal tweed from McNutt's Woolen Mills. Just have them here as well. But
it's lovely, actually. Hold it up a bit higher for those on the camera. Yeah, lovely.
So,
But it's indistinguishable from, and of course it is, it's indistinguishable from something you would see on someone's shoulder in New York, London, Paris, wherever it might be, right?
Yeah. And so the reason I kind of started was I wanted to blend 3 parts of my life that I really love, which was my craft, my trade of sewing, my spiritual, the spiritual aspect of my life, and my love for Donegal. So yeah, it's been a whole journey, And
how long have you been in business now, Caroline?
I started just at the start of the summer.
Okay.
But I've been very lucky. I got into the markets in Galway. So I've been sewing during the week, and then I would take all my products down to the markets at the weekends in Galway and sell them there. So I got great market research. So I learned what worked and what didn't work. And yeah, I have...
And how many pieces, if you design a piece, right, how many pieces are you likely to make of that? Or do you limit it? Or if there's demand, you'll just keep banging them out as much as you can?
Yeah, so I started with lots of different things that I was making. And now I've kind of worked it out that it's just bags and purses at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I'd like to go into making clothes maybe eventually. But at the moment, yeah, that's what I'm making.
And how important is the materials to you? In other words, the brand that is, Donegal tweed.
Yeah, I feel like I picked Donegal tweed because, it's a part of our heritage here in Donegal. The weavers, the specific process that they do is unique to Donegal. And also, they make just gorgeous, the colours and, the patterns and everything.
You can't I don't think, almost artificially recreate that. And this is why it's so important. And I know there's moves ongoing that Donegal tweed is recognised as a brand, a protected brand for people like yourself as well, so that people don't see Chinese-made bags that are Donegal tweed because, on the back of your success. In terms of scale, Caroline, do you want to get as big as you can? Or do you want to meet the demand that you set and be sort of comfortable and happy in that? Because, of course, there's exclusivity as well too is quite an attractive part of a brand potentially.
Yeah, no, I thought, like, I went through lots of different iterations of the business since I've started, and I thought at the start I wanted to make it big and have it everywhere, but the more that I get into it, the more I realize that actually, like, just making them myself and selling them and just being able to, like, have a good life with that is more important to me now.
Are you able to cede a little bit of control though and have someone else working on or do you have to sing the song, write the song, record the song?
At some stage, yeah, that'll be the plan to hopefully get on a little bit of help with the sewing, yeah.
And Ancient Roots Ireland, is that your social media handle, your website as well?
That's it. And I'm just setting up a website as well. So
Brilliant.
It'll be Ancient Roots Ireland.
So it's really exciting early time, but you're seeing enough to know you've got onto something here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which is great.
And as I say, in the markets, it's been amazing because there's people from all over the world that have come there to Galway, you know, so there's the locals and then like international people.
Well, that's it, you see. I mean, firstly, you're producing a lovely product, right, that looks great. But, I mean, you talk about sort of international markets, you know, Donegal tweed, made in Donegal, handmade. It's incredibly attractive. I mean, that's going to be a talking point if you're in California or if you're in Sydney or Dubai.
Yeah, and like a big part of my business is reconnecting people with their ancient roots.
Yeah.
So having something that is from the land, you know, made here in Donegal, especially for people that are coming, maybe who have ancestors that lived in Ireland that like left and, you know, could never make it home, and now their descendants are coming back to reconnect with the land, you know, just so to have a tangible piece of the land that's come from here, made here, you know, is like helping them reconnect, you know, have a sense of belonging in a tangible form.
Yeah, okay, it's fantastic. And how has DLDC been supporting you in these early stages of your business?
Oh, I don't know if I could have got it off the road.
How did you hear about DLDC, for an example?
I heard about it online, and so I just went over to them and spoke to them, and I got working with Colette, and yeah, so I wouldn't have known much about tax or finance or like all the kind of business admin kind of side of things. And so she literally like sat me down and explained everything about cash flow forecasting and, you know, the money kind of side of things, and how to be like financially secure with the business, you know.
And I suppose too, you know, and both of you are very passionate about what you do as well too, but you have to put some business in there as well. Absolutely, don't you? Because it could be a fool's errand otherwise.
Yeah. For me, like, you know, it could have just been a hobby, like, whereas now with their support, I was able to, like, she literally helped me fill out the forms for my tax and everything, you know, so they've been so supportive.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And which takes a bit of space, gives a bit of space for you then to, and if you are on the end of the phone, on the end of the email.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. She even rang me yesterday and she was like, so tomorrow is the radio interview, you know, she was like talking me through, supporting me, and
great stuff.
Brilliant.
If people want to check out your stuff, Caroline, Ancient Roots Ireland, and learn more behind, because I think there's an awful lot behind this that I haven't really dug into in terms of, you know, connections and stuff like that. If people want more information about your products, how do they get it?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Ancient Roots Ireland, and Facebook as well. And as I say, I'm setting up a website as well. So.
Yeah, so it's exciting, a really exciting time for your business as well. And Caroline, Claire, how long have you been running CL Wellness now?
Just new.
Right, okay.
I'm into my second week.
Wow. Okay, yeah. So this is a great opportunity to get the message out there.
Absolutely.
Because we are you're the expert here, correct me if I'm wrong. I think wellness used to be sort of like a word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not.
No.
People understand it now. Yeah. And people could say, right, that my kid could benefit from that. Or you could get an 85-year-old woman who's saying, you know, 100%. Since I started this, my balance is better, my movement is better, I can get out of bed. You know what I mean?
That's
so you don't have to sell wellness and yoga and stuff anymore as such. It's just the fact that you're there to do it with them.
That's it, exactly. And I think that's the best thing, I suppose, about me is that I'm coming from an industry where I've spent so long and I've seen quite a lot and I've experienced quite a lot, but then I've got my yoga instructor and I've got my Pilates, so I've got the best of both worlds, where the yoga is more your mindfulness, your flexibility, and then your Pilates is more of your strength and recondition and like let's get strength back into the body.
How effective is, regardless of your age, even if you're an athlete. How effective is Pilates, say, in that really important core, getting strength in that space?
You need it for life, for everything.
Yeah.
Even, so like when I left the Mount Ergel, I went to ABC School Supplies last year. So I went from being the most active person and, non-stop to sitting at a desk. And I quickly realized that sitting at a desk was not for me. It just killed my back. And the only thing that really kept me going was what I knew in Pilates, to get the strength, keep building up, keep doing what I was doing, and to keep my hips, my lower back strong, because I was.
And I must ask, Caroline, what is your sewing posture like?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
My father was a tailor and my mother a seamstress, and she was bent over like like this here, so straight back.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And
on the go into Claire.
Absolutely, there we go.
And if you need a clutch, do you do clutch bags?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There you
so
go.
there we go. I do
this
take
is
a lot of stuff.
Network, ladies, with networking.
I have lots of folders, lots of books, so I'm going to need a pretty big bag other than what I have. So yeah, no, 100%. But no, that's what you're kind of looking at, and I'm actually in with Milford, Donegal County Council next week, actually doing a workshop based on this.
Well
so
done.
it is literally just kind of like what I've learned from sitting and how it affected me to how I know it affects everybody else.
Okay,
and
so
I'm like that middle person to help you out.
You've got classes in Gallo Glass Community Centre in Milford, Termon GA Club, Pilates for adults, the Nifty 50s movement. I look forward to being qualifying for that.
Brilliant class.
Movement sessions. Shut up, Caroline. Teen strength and flexibility classes as well, right? That's fantastic, isn't it? Well done. And is it socials primarily for you as well?
Yes, I am on Facebook with CL Wellness and Instagram CL Nutrition 2021, and like that, a website is coming as well for the new
Great,
year.
and we'll link them off ours. And it's really interesting, and I think it's actually really significant for you to come out and be speaking about new businesses, really, as you're working on your website, and I think it's really exciting, and I'm so pleased for both of you, and I'm delighted to give the support of the DLDC, and that's why we're platforming it this week. And I was joking a little bit there about networking and networking events, but it is kind of funny, isn't it, that you, Caroline, you thinking, actually, maybe in the work that I do, and then and then you saying, you know what, I could support a fellow businesswoman and meet the needs that I have. So that's networking live. All right, anything either you want to add, or you have? We've touched on most, I think, haven't we?
I would just say that anybody that's thinking about starting a business and they're a bit unsure, or they have like a trade or something and they wouldn't know the other side of things, like definitely give the DLDC a ring, or just go up to them and speak to them. They're so ready, and they have all these resources and networking and workshops and everything.
Yeah, but even the what might be seen as the distracting stuff, the taxman, the liabilities, business management, stuff that, and it gives you guys the space to really fulfill your passions.
They run quite a lot of workshops. If there is anything at all that you're sort of doubtful on, that you're not sure, if they get enough people for that one workshop, say on bookkeeping, on tax, whatever it might be, they will run it. So all the help that you need is there.
Okay.
And I would say, be confident. Just if you think that your idea, if you think that something has got legs, just go for it. And what's the harm? If it doesn't work out, you'll not die wondering, so
True.
Just go do it.
We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Well,
Caroline Crumlish from Ancient Root Ireland, I wish you nothing but success, and I can't wait to check out your stuff, actually. Claire Lynch of CL Wellness too. I think it's amazing what you're doing, because it's actually really helping people, but you're managing to sort of it's a business, but also a passion, and it's helping others, which is great. Both of you, thank you so very much indeed. We'll have more from the DLDC tomorrow.
Help promote your business, club or skill with a calendar printed by BizPrint. Call 91777955 or visit bizprint.ie for all your promotional needs. At Blue Poppy Dentistry and Orthodontics, we specialise in creating confident, natural-looking smiles through expert composite bonding. Doctors Anna and Lydia combine precision and artistry to reshape, refine and refresh your smile with stunning results. It's just one of the many ways Blue Poppy puts your smile first. Call us on 07491 20355 or book online at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, Letterkenny and Donegal Town, where smiles shine brighter.
Join me, Marty Friel, every Friday from 8 for Rockin' Hits on Highland Radio in association with Arena 7. Book a Christmas party with a difference. Enjoy bowling, a buffet and a DJ every Friday and Saturday night this December. That's Arena 7 Bowling this Christmas.
Discover Centra Simple Savers, your haunt for fantastic value. Like inspired by Centra Party Food selected range 2 for €8. Selected Pepsi 7-Up and Club 12 can pack €7 each plus deposit. And Carlsberg 8 can pack $13.57 plus deposit. Enjoy frightfully good value on all your favourites. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy alcohol sensibly.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Donegal County Council would like to remind residents that each and every one of us is responsible for making sure the waste materials we generate is dealt with in an environmentally friendly way. Dumping waste can contaminate land, pollute watercourses, encourage vermin, spread invasive species, and impact on human health. It's also a visual blight on our beautiful countryside. Unauthorised waste activity such as dumping and burning of waste is illegal and can lead to fines, court appearances and in some cases a criminal conviction. We all have a part to play. So let's work together to keep Donegal beautiful.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Our Christmas shop has now opened for all your festive shopping needs. Explore our extensive range of decorations, bedding and more in our homeware department, in-store or shop online at mcelhinney's.com today.
So it's going to be another breezy day with sunny spells and heavy showers, bringing the chance of hail and isolated thunderstorms. Feeling cool with temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees in moderate to fresh and gusty. Westerly winds strong along the coast. Showers will become isolated by evening and winds will ease. Tonight it could be 1 to 3 degrees. That's blooming chilly.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
It's just a minute past 11. Let's get a news update, and it's over to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The 100% Redress Party has welcomed confirmation that the complaint process for defective block homeowners who've had their remediation options downgraded is being dealt with by an independent body. Party members met with Engineer Ireland, who confirmed that the Ethics Committee is operating as an independent body with an external membership considering cases on individual merits. It was indicated that substantive progress is expected to be made on this side of Christmas. There were over 1,000 social homes at various stages of design or construction in Donegal at the end of June. Housing Minister James Brown says the delivery of social and affordable housing continues to gain momentum, with the latest quarterly statistics revealing strong growth and robust pipelines across both delivery streams. Letterkenny University Hospital is encouraging the public to know the signs of a stroke this World Stroke Day. Once the signs are detected, it's vital to call the emergency services as quickly as possible. When a stroke is underway, 2 million brain cells are destroyed every minute. People are told to remember FAST, which is face, arm, speech and time. The Taoiseach says the public will get impatient if his party keeps focusing on internal issues. Micheál Martin's leadership has been under scrutiny since Fianna Fáil's disastrous presidential election campaign. He had a meeting with backbenchers to address some of their concerns amid talk of a possible confidence motion. The Taoiseach says voters would rather he just got on with his job. Police seized alcohol, fireworks and flares from a bus of away supporters travelling to a football match in Derry over the weekend. Officers made the discovery on Sunday after intercepting the vehicle in Strabane. No arrests were made, but the bus was refused entry to the event at the Ryan McBride Brandywell Stadium. And finally, the NUJ is expressing concern that bodies being established to replace the joint policing committees may hold their meetings in private. The JPC meetings were held in public, with Donegal meetings regularly being attended by Highland Radio and the local newspapers. However, they're being replaced by a new local community safety partnership, which will also bring in the HSE and TUSLA. That's all for now. We'll be back again with more headlines at 12 noon.
Thank you very much, Donna Murray. We'll be back with our next guest on the 9 till noon show after we take a break. Stay right where you are.
Darren knows these roads. He knows every turn, every tree, every person's house. He knows when he wants to put his foot down. But here's something he doesn't know. He doesn't know that Jim is searching for his phone and has taken his eye off the road, just around the corner ahead. Darren doesn't know this. But they're both about to find out very quickly. Even if you know the road, you don't know what's coming. Say no to speeding. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
Your new favourite tool is here, the new Screwfix app. Download today to browse, get exclusive offers, quicker collections and receive 20% off your first order. Download the app before November 2nd to receive a code for 20% off your first app order, valid for 14 days. Purchase required. Maximum spend €500. 18 plus only. Delivery charges and restrictions may apply. For full details, see screwfix.ie.
Getting your first electric car is like meeting your partner's family for the first time. Nerves are normal. You were stressed about awkward silence with her dad. Now you chat for hours about sport. You're worried her mum wouldn't like you. Now she likes you better than her own son. Likewise, once you experience how great an EV can be, you'll never look back, especially if it's a Skoda. Order your electric Enyaq or Elrock today.
Skoda. Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clar Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721 396.
Make great photos into beautiful gifts at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Different gift ideas include canvas prints, freestanding or ready-to-hang art blocks, and personalised photo books, perfect to mark any occasion. There's also jigsaws, calendars, mugs, and much more. For details, visit mcgees.ie. Turn your favourite moments into something truly special with McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. At Eclipse Cinemas Bundoran and Lifford Strabane, the stars shine brighter. This isn't just a trip to the movies, it's a VIP experience. Sit back in luxury as your favourite pizza,
yummy,
hot food and a cold drink are delivered right to your seat in any studio. But for the ultimate treat, step into the Director's Lounge, our most popular destination. Enjoy the film, enjoy the food and savour the experience. Only at Eclipse Cinemas Bundoran and Lifford Strabane.
We all want to restore our world's natural environment. But where do we even start? How about right here? With Super Value Tidy Towns, we can reimagine our local areas. Every time we rewild, every time we strengthen biodiversity, every time we support our Super Value Tidy Towns volunteers, that's real action. Because at Super Value, we believe that every local action makes a global impact. Super Value, real food, real people, real action.
Now, something a little bit different for you. Our Wednesday, our Wellness Wednesday, we're going to focus on a unique event. It's somewhat unique, which is happening in St. Colum's Hall in Derry next Saturday, the 8th of November. It's Brawl in the Hall. It's an inclusive wrestling championship. It's pro wrestling show featuring people with Down syndrome, autism, ADHD, and other physical and learning challenges. One wrestler is even blind. So I suppose it is unique in that regard. I was sort of referencing more wrestling events. We're joined by a number of guests here. Kellyo, who is Keelan, but he's known as Kellyo, but we can lift the mask for one day only. How are you getting on?
Hi, all good, all good.
It's good to have you with us. It's great to have you with us. And we also have SJ, known as Siren.
Yes.
Hiya, Siren. How are you getting on?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic stuff. And pulling it all together is Stephen Campbell, no stranger to Highland Radio. Stephen Campbell's Cambo Crane. You've been a professional wrestler for a long time now, haven't you, Stephen?
Yeah, it's coming up on 14 years.
Yeah.
Probably the longest serving Donegal wrestler there's going.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Where's your passion, or how do you maintain the passion for it?
I just love the game. I believe professional wrestling is the greatest art form there is. It combines everything. It's pretty much, imagine you go to the cinema to watch an Avengers movie, and then you shout at one of the Avengers, and they turn and point at you or comment on your comment. That's pretty much what professional wrestling is. It's live action, live theater. The crowd controls the show, and that's what makes it so unique.
And it's one of the best mediums for storytelling out there.
100%. It's all stories. Like, people are like, oh, it's just two people fighting. It's like, no, we're telling like the classic stories of good versus evil. big guy versus small guy, teacher versus student. We do. It's non-stop storytelling, professional wrestling.
Yeah. All right. Where is your love for wrestling coming from, SJ?
Well, before doing the show, I hadn't a clue about anything about wrestling until I watched the show last year. And what I thought was that you had to do it for years and years and years. And again, whenever I watched the show and had my other friends saying it, it just sparked a passion in me, and I really wanted to do the show this year. Yeah, that's where.
And would you have watched sort of televised pro wrestling?
Yeah, I've started watching it now,
Right.
but before this, I never watched any of it. It was really just the passion from last year's wrestling show that kind of
So
sparked
it was
me.
always there. You just needed that event to sort of light that spark in you.
Well, I guess I'm very I love kind of the aggression of it, and love the likes of more like the physical form of it.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So where did you begin with training then? So you've been training intensely, I'd imagine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started training March last year, was it?
March this year.
This year?
Yeah, so we started in about March. We train in Derry, do once a week for about 3 hours. I think it's about 20 students I've been training. So this is SJ's first year doing training. Keelan's second year. A lot of people this year, like SJ has a great story because she was an extra basically on the show last year.
Yeah.
And when she seen it was like, oh, I didn't think it was possible to do it. And when she seen the show, she's like, no, I have
You
to do
thought,
it.
right, I don't want to be necessarily to the side of the stage. I want to be centre stage.
Yeah, and that's what I want from this show. Like how we have people with Down syndrome and autism, and even a blind guy included. I want to show, and this is what professional wrestling is, that literally anybody can do it. There was a one-legged wrestler for a while in WWE. Like wrestling is so welcoming for everybody that if you think,
what was his name again?
Zach Gowen.
Zach Gowen, indeed. Yeah.
I'm very impressed. You
Yeah.
almost knew
No,
that.
yeah, but I remember him indeed. Yeah.
But I want people like SJ who's like, I don't think I can do that, and then they see it and they get drawn to it and go, now I have to do that, and like that's what really that's my
But
passion.
do you know
for
the
it.
thing I thought was interesting about that whole Zach story, Zach Gowen thing, is that it made people with an obvious disability visible.
Yes.
Right? You
Yes.
know, for me, it wasn't necessarily the achievement of wrestling on one leg, which is fantastic, or using his prosthetic as a weapon, or whatever it might be, right? It was the fact that this wasn't a guy that was sitting at home having lost a leg. He was on national telly. He was seen.
He made it, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, if there's
He
other
made a
people-
difference.
Yeah, exactly. And there's other people think, well, if Zach can do it, I can do it. And I think that's, where. So, listen, Keelan, what's your story? How long have you been a fan of wrestling?
Oh, as long as enough that I can remember. Like, I grew up watching it from the Attitude Era days. Like, I love the old guys.
You're not old
but
enough
I,
for that, are you?
What?
You're not old enough for the Attitude Era. You're a student of it, right?
Yeah, it's just I love watching the olden days. Like, just like honestly, how the build up to the today is. Like, it's been mad. Like, I grew up watching it. Like, it's been a hell of a journey for me with WWE. I always see it on TV, and I'm like, I want to do it someday, but I just could never find a passion or the energy to find where a wrestling school is. And then the one day I hear Chundin is doing it, I'm just like, I need to get into Chundin at the time. It's like, I really need this for my life, like, so I can say that I can do this, that I be a professional wrestler.
Right, so two questions. First one, Keelan, growing up, watching it, studying pro wrestling over the years, who would be your favourite wrestler?
Back then or now?
Back then.
Well, the most common one would be John Cena, but like honestly, it was mostly Randy Orton. But if I love The Rock, Stone Cold.
And of the new crop now, I mean, obviously those guys pop up from time to time. Of the new crop of wrestlers, who would you who's your favourite wrestler at the moment?
A female wrestler called Lyra Valkyria, and a male superstar. He's really over right now, Jey Uso.
Yeah, he is. I watched it more than I do now. I'm a casual viewer now, but the Usos as a collective, I never really got them, if you know what I mean. And I didn't think there could be someone would step out of that and actually become as big as they did. So it's remarkable actually what he's achieved. But it's the audience interaction often, isn't it?
It is.
Who would you style yourself on? You're your own guy, right? Don't get me wrong. But in terms of style, who would you style yourself on, do you think?
Oh, good question.
Do you want to give you a chance to think about it, or maybe you're just your own guy with a mixture of everything coming?
I think the thing is because you're debuting, it's hard to know right now.
I think I like to be my own guy, so
Yeah.
I don't want to be like anyone else.
And as you say as well, Stephen, it's what comes back from the audience as well, isn't it?
Yes,
You
we training yesterday, and I was saying to them, I was like, I can tell you what's going to happen on the show. We can have a whole plan, but sometimes the audience just does something. You have to go with it.
Yeah.
Keelan, is it just me, or is Stephen sort of giving off kind of Seamus vibes? Is it, or maybe it's just me? Is it?
Because I'm so big and jacked, is that it? Or pale and ginger, which one is it?
I mean, who wouldn't want to be Seamus?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Exactly.
As a well-decorated wrestler, I'll take that.
Yeah, what about you, SJ, as a relatively new adapter to it? Who are you looking at sort of for inspiration and aspiration?
Well, do you know what? Like Keelan too, I've been watching a lot of the old, back in the day wrestling, like the Undertaker type of vibes. But right now, we were actually watching one of her entrances was Rhea Ripley. I really like her.
And I think what's happened, Stephen, as well, is women's position in wrestling has changed. You know, and you, sorry, I didn't mean SJ to exclude you from the conversation. In that before, with a few exceptions, your Trish Statuses and stuff like that, they were sort of almost decoration to some extent.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
they were like accessories to the
like
show.
Lita and stuff, right? I seem to recall her. She was amazing, right? But now, the bona fide, the champions, the women's champions, the men's champions, they're and that must be good for you to see that development, SJ, of women's role in wrestling.
Yeah, it definitely is too. Whenever we're doing the training too, it's me and another female wrestler, so it's mostly men. And I'm getting chopped. I'm chopping back them. Like, I'm not treated
But I think you enjoy that.
I love it. I'm like, help me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, throw me. I don't care.
But that's a good point. Like, there is no difference between the men and the women training.
No.
So we did an aggression day where I was like, you're going to get hit. You have to be ready. So we did slaps and chops. And SJ took every single one, didn't complain at all.
What about the people the development you've seen in them, Stephen, in terms of, you know, maybe there are people with Down syndrome who thought there's absolutely no way I can follow my passion in this regard or get into something, and to be treated so equally and with such a level of inclusion heading into a big wrestling show. What's that been like, or what have you seen in terms of evolution?
I love that because I'm a coach as well, so I run a training school, and so I love finding people's strengths. So, for example, we have a guy called Lee, whose wrestling name is going to be Sparkles. And the reason where that came about was we were just doing a simple drill, and I was like, do a punch, and then a big punch, they fall down. I just want to see you do some kind of taunt. And most people just went, yeah, or put their hands up. And he did this ballerina spin.
It was so good.
We all laughed and loved it. And Sean, who's in charge of tuned in, was like, why did he do that, Lee? Why'd you do that? And I go, I don't care. It was entertaining. Like, and I was like, that's your thing. Let's go with that. So once you find someone's strengths, the ball starts rolling. And it's like, oh, maybe he can't do a great wrist lock, but he's entertaining. And that's all you need for pro wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. Keelan, what's it been like to be part of the big group, sort of building up, you know, doing your training and building up to the show? I would say it must be so blooming exciting to be able to sort of emulate your heroes.
Being able to do it is one thing, but getting in the ring will be will be another thing. So will be a dream come true at the time when it comes to the show, but coming up there, they doing the training, it's been an absolute blast.
Yeah.
What's the story with outfits?
Oh, they all have outfits ready. They're all good to go.
Yeah.
So
what's your style gonna be? SJ.
I don't want to give too much away.
Actually, do you know? Don't give anything
but no,
away.
no. I'll say stuff. I think it's very rock punk.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And what about you? I can see you being grungy almost. Keelan, or what look are you gonna go for?
You just have to wait and see.
No, he's keeping all his...
What a pro.
Yeah.
Buy tickets.
Yeah, but in fairness, SJ's teased enough but not given away, right?
Yeah.
So she's coming out. So it's Brawl in the Hall.
Yeah.
It's in St. Column's Hall in Derry. It's next Saturday at 8 o'clock. Oh, sorry, the 8th of November, but I don't have a time here.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. So the full title is Foil Rumble. and it's the second year we've done it. But this year there's a lot more tuned in members. Before last year, it was like they were managers or they were involved in the match, but not actually in the match in the ring. Whereas this year, pretty much everybody is a Foil Rumble or is a tuned in member with a few pro wrestlers thrown in. So it's Foil Rumble, Brawl in the Hall. If you go to foilrumble.com, you can get tickets there.
And there's been a buy-in from other professional wrestlers, not just you, to this vision that you had, which I would say is good, Stephen.
Yeah, so I'm with a company called Complete Anarchy Wrestling. So I have wrestlers I often wrestle with. And they were there last year. They're fully on board this year. It was me doing the training this year, but they are going to be wrestling some of these tuned in members. Some of the best wrestlers I know, All Star Morrow, Pyro, Pure Filth. They're going to get involved with these guys, and we're going to prove that anything is possible in pro wrestling.
And it is. And I think what's amazing is this is a different stage. There's different stages for different people, and this really is. And the one thing, and you talk of Sparkles there, if he doesn't mind me calling him that, is that he's the creative director as well too, to some extent. That's
when they're out there, they're in charge. They're trying to guide the crowd. The crowd will guide them. Because we even have like a blind guy wrestling, he's going to fully have to feel off the crowd and like listen to their reactions so he can find his opponent during the match.
Yeah, which again is using the
I
scenario as part of the story.
Yeah, and like we were talking about Zach Gower, and I can't think of a match where there's ever been a blind guy in it.
No.
So we're trying to like make history with the show on November 8th.
Fantastic stuff.
I think that show is really about making a difference and to show other people, no matter who you are, you can do it. Like Stephen said, you can do it. Whenever before I did this, I was like, I don't think I can do it. Until then, I proved to myself then that I could definitely do it then. I don't want it to end, to be honest.
We only have one training session
I know,
left,
I'm like,
and then the show.
And you're in a match, Siren, yeah.
Well, I have a part in it, yeah.
Okay, good stuff. And you're looking forward to what you have to do, Kellyo.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to my role and what I'm going to bring to the show. So
brilliant. And I get the impression that both you and I'd say everyone on the show wants to steal the show.
I think everyone. I think everyone will.
Shine, if you know what I mean.
I think the crowd will leave going, "Oh, that match number 2 was great," or the blind guy was great, or the girl was great, or Kelly was great. I think there's going to be so many highlights on this show. Yeah.
Great stuff. What about tickets? How do you get tickets for the tuned in Brawl in the Hall?
So if you go to foilrumble.com, type that into your browser, it'll take you to the ticket website. If you have any issues, you can go to the tuned in Facebook page or Instagram page. Same if you go to the Complete Anarchy Wrestling Facebook page or Instagram page, we can guide you there. But foilrumble.com.
Brilliant stuff. And Steve, what about you? What's your flat out on the circuit, are you?
Yeah, wrestling all over the Northwest, sometimes in Dublin as well. But the main focus has pretty much been training these guys.
Okay.
Like the whole focus is this show. It's be my biggest show of my career. We're hoping to get like 300 to 400 people in the place. So that's Foil Rumble is WrestleMania to me. That's as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, brilliant stuff. It's everyone's WrestleMania on the night, isn't it?
It will be.
Yeah. Okay, listen, SJ, been lovely meeting you. And
Thank you.
Kind of you're very good at communicating your journey, if you know what I mean, which is fantastic for us.
Thank you.
And the same for you as well, Keelan. You're just itching. You can't wait to get at it, which is fantastic as well.
Oh, it's going through my head recently.
Yeah, you're playing it over and over and over.
Yeah, the fact that it's coming up so quickly and so soon. There's no time. Yeah. There's literally no time left. We have to give it our all.
Okay, listen, folks, you're in for a fantastic show. It is one of a kind. Oh, sorry, it's pretty unique, but also potentially a one of a kind of experience too. With one of those featuring being blind, effectively taking part in a show. It hasn't been seen before, or certainly no one in this room can recall it ever happened before. And it's all in St. Colum's Hall in Derry on Saturday, the 8th of November. And it's all the family. This is
it's a family-friendly event.
If you've got someone in your house that's watching the wrestling, this is an opportunity for them to go and see it live as well. So it's a cracking evening out for a mum and a son, or whatever the combination might be.
If you love WWE, tickets are like £15, and for wrestling these days or anything, that's fairly cheap.
Yeah, but also I think it's backing you, Stephen, and the rest of the crew, Kelly-O and Siren as well too.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, brilliant. I hope it is packed. I've no doubt that it will be. I've a telephone number here for more ticket information as well. 04871 367 029, or get onto that website, which is
BoyleRumble.com.
All right, thanks so much, Stephen Campbell, aka Cambo Cray, SJ known as Siren, and Keelan, who is known as Kelly-O, all part of the Tuned In group. Thanks so much.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Ready to kick off your Christmas party season? Get the gang together for the big festive bingo party happening Saturday 29th of November at the Villa Rose Hotel, Buffet.
It's bingo, but not as you know it. Expect festive tunes, cocktails, daft games, plenty of laughs, and a €1,000 top cash prize.
Tickets are just €25 plus booking fee, and they're on sale now at Eventbrite or HighlandRadio.com.
So grab your friends, your workmates, or your whole office and make it your Christmas night out.
The big festive bingo party. It's bingo with a festive twist.
Meet James. He made big savings on his car insurance when he made the switch to Outsurance.
Hi, I'm James. It's true, I saved €179 when I made the switch. And with the Out bonus, I'll get 10% of my premiums back in cash after 3 years claim-free.
Ooh, lovely. For a competitive car insurance quote like James's, call 1-800-600-400 or visit outsurance.ie. Real people, unreal savings. Outsurance. You always get something out. Based on a like-for-like policy comparison, the customer received a gratuity for their participation. Out bonus calculated less taxes and levies. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. Car and home insurance is underwritten by Outsurance DAC. Outsurance DAC, trading as Outsurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The Irish Times says the hybrid Dacia Bigster might just be Ireland's best car right now. That's a big review. Well, it is a big family car with big space, big tech, a big boot and big hybrid power. Get more for less from just €29,990. Visit your local Dacia dealer to find out more. Dacia. Drive more for less. Price excludes delivery and related charges. T's and C's apply. Offers are limited. See dacia.ie.
Callan Tansey Solicitors LLP are holding personal injuries and medical negligence clinics in Donegal Town and Letterkenny. They will be in the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town on Tuesday 5th of November and the following Tuesday 12th of November in the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, both from 11am to 3pm. To arrange an appointment, call Callan Tansey Solicitors on 071 91 62032. In contentious business, a solicitor may not calculate fees or charges as a percentage or proportion of any award or settlement.
Shekelatha ama Highland Radio. Arna Dortugat ag Airgrid. Uproar agus forbor an go letrahas na Héireann. Airgrid. Pobal a guachtu, era a guachtu.
All right.
Tashe.
Chris Ashmore's with me now. If he was a wrestler, what would it be? Chris the A.H. Ashmore? I don't know what it might be. Do you ever watch wrestling, Chris?
Not so much latterly, but I would be of an age
You
that
don't,
I remember.
Don't
certain-
giant haystacks, mate.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're gonna giant haystacks, mate.
I remember all that. It was
You're
Saturday
old.
afternoon. It was big on TV. On
Dickie
the
Davis
world
in the World of Sport. aye.
Yeah, it was. You couldn't miss it. It was on for a couple of hours.
I
Wasn't it?
love the audience, the front rows of the wrestling on World of Sport. Like it would be older ladies. Like that would be the
It
front
was,
row.
well, that was probably before they went to Bullseye later on in the evening, wasn't it? Yeah.
perhaps. But yeah, I realise I pretty much watch everything. Do you know that? Because there's not something people can't talk about that I haven't watched. Like I was able to remember, I was looking at our guest there, SJ, and I was thinking when she mentioned grunge, I was thinking of AJ, I was thinking of Lita, I was thinking of Stacey Keebler, China. How do I know all these names?
Well, yeah, I have to say, I would have flicked through some of the American stuff over the years, and yeah, listen, sometimes you could stumble across it and talk about enthusiasm and crowd and atmosphere. Yeah.
All right, let's get into some business news before we talk about the pod. Northwest Firms featuring in a TV show?
Yes, now this is a new 4-part documentary series called The Entrepreneurs. It begins on RTE1 television next Monday, and basically they are spotlighting the finalists from the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year competition. So there are a number from the Northwest. William McColgan, who's the founder of McColgan's based in Strabane, long-established company, goes back to 1940 and have been producing food there for a long time, pastries and all sorts of little meals and items that many people will see in their local shop. So we'll find out more about their pastry products and the whole business. And a company called Seating Matters, who are in Limavady, and they specialise in therapeutic seating for patients who may have a condition or need posture support, and they've been very successful. And they will be featuring in that 4-part series gets underway on Monday night on RTE1.
Brilliant, great exposure. I don't want to be negative, but we're seeing house inflation. We're seeing house inflation slowing a little bit. We've seen the really bad news, Fastway couriers laying off staff. In terms of jobs growth, it is slowing. And inflation is slowing as well, which is good, I suppose, for the consumer. There's just a few things I'm looking at, wondering, right, are we at the top of the arc? So it's good news to hear that companies are taking on staff for Christmas, because I think beyond Christmas, and as well too, when you look at the pressure the hospitality tourism industry is in countrywide, not the gougers in Dublin, but countrywide, I do think we've a few headwinds on the way. But anyway, let's focus more on the Christmas period and companies hiring.
Yes, and you're absolutely correct. The next couple of months, you will see additional staff, a lot of temporary work, part-time work, hotels, bars, restaurants, retailers, supermarkets. Tesco announcing today they're taking on 1,100 people nationally and 17 here in Donegal. So there are opportunities. So some people, maybe it's a chance to earn some extra money. For those who maybe are looking for a job, it's going to be short-term. And then, as you say, we get a dip in January and February, and those cold, dark months, there's less trade. There's no doubt about it. Interesting to note also this week that we hear a lot about the big high street, as I call them in the UK, retailers and people buying more online. Next, who went through their own issues, they had profits. Now this is their overall operations, which includes those in Ireland. But their sales for the third quarter were up 10.5%, which is so not everybody's buying it all. Now they of course have an online presence as well, but their retail outlets are certainly holding their own.
Yeah, indeed, and they're doing what Amazon are doing, and that's sort of trying to get into the Shein/Temu space. A lot of people don't really know that Amazon have a completely separate website for that kind of stuff.
So it's huge.
It's high volume, low cost. We've been chatting about business supports delivered through the office of the DLDC this week, meeting some brilliant companies, Chris, some amazing people. And I actually have found our conversation with them really quite inspirational. And I felt a level of pride. People that have sort of switched from your 9 to 5, though it's rarely 9 to 5, and have gone out on their own. And there's almost like a sense of pride you feel for them, even though you don't know them. But anyway, we do have a wealth of supports. And I will say one thing in terms of what Leo provide, DLDC provide. I've learned everything almost I know through the Business Matters podcast in terms of what they do. So it's a fantastic resource for anyone in business or looking to start business. But sorry, I digress. What's coming up on Friday?
Yes, well, you've hit the nail on the head. There are so many supports out there, and sometimes people just need that little helping hand. They have an idea, and as you mentioned there, DLDC, the local enterprise office, even go through the council. There's lots of people out there who'll point you in the right direction. So don't be shy if you have an idea, and a lot of people have been very successful. There is a business support clinic this Friday at 10 o'clock in in fact, I'll rewind that. That one has been held. That one was in Carndona. But
what was it like?
There is a series of them taking place, and essentially contact the local enterprise office, and they'll give you the range of supports there. Sometimes it's just it's a case of having a talk, But as well as the grants and the supports, Greg, important to point out, there's a great mentoring service there. And maybe you need help in marketing or developing your website or just how to deal with new customers, all sorts of people, and you pay a small amount. They subsidise the person, and you're getting an expert in to help you. I just want to also point out Ballybofey and Stranorlar Chamber of Commerce, they're making a big drive with their online presence at the moment, and they've added over 4,000 followers in the last 90 days. So an impressive figure there, and they've lots of events coming up. You can check out their Facebook page between now and Christmas and see what's going on.
Yeah, and in terms of, your Facebook presence and where you're at, and this is for individual business, it's about engagement too. You're far better off having 1,000 really active people engaging with you on social media than 120,000 who don't even see your stuff. Right, okay. Let's take a break. Coming up after the break, we'll get a little taster of what's coming up on this week's Business Matters podcast.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Take a few days away and join us for the Highland Radio Country Cabin Getaway this February at the Sleeve Russell Hotel from Monday the 2nd to Thursday the 5th. Enjoy dinner, bed and breakfast and a fantastic lineup of live country music from Dominic Kirwan, Louise Morrissey, Sean Keane, John McNichol, Owen Mack, Jimmy Buckley, David James and Band, Trevor Lockery, Matt Levy and White Lightning. All this for €495 per person sharing. Single supplement applies. To book your place, call Highland Radio on 9125,000 or visit the outlet on highlandradio.com. That's the Highland Radio Country Cabin Getaway this February. Great music, great company, and a few days to unwind.
With an ESB Network smart meter, you're in control. Track your daily, weekly and monthly electricity usage so you can choose the right plan for your home. Smart meters help all of us make smarter energy choices, so we can work together for Ireland's cleaner electric future. Sign up to a free ESB Networks online account today and see how your smart meter can work for you. ESB Networks, energising your everything.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure, supporting you with the right footwear. Have you tried the Hoka Sensation yet? Hoka provides comfort, support and shock absorption, which makes them a good choice for frequent runners and walkers, or anyone whose job requires them to stand for the majority of the day. Check in store or shop online at bmcsports.ie. Step into our safe size experience. Get the right fit for you at Brian McCormick Sports. Christmas Club now open.
I need somebody to love. Big deals are now on at Dreams. I bet you beds are excited.
Oh yeah, we're bouncing.
Until Tuesday, save 20% off all bed frames when bought with a mattress. But don't hang about. You snooze, you lose. Dreams, let us find you a bed that loves you back.
You value getting into the spirit of the season with hair-raising fun and deadly offers waiting around every corner at Lidl. Risen from the earth, our Board B approved Irish pumpkins from 89¢. And when kids come a-knocking, there's treats from 69¢. Halloween at Lidl. More to value.
Okay, we're in the company of Chris Ashmore. Before we move on, though, I want to say a happy birthday, if that's okay, to our own Bronwyn Walsh, who's flat out working down the hall. I was chatting to her mother in Australia on the phone a little earlier on. It was 9 or 10 o'clock over there. G'day, mate. Happy birthday to you, Bronwyn. Formerly of this parish as well, and while publicly she purports not to like me, I do know that she does. Niamh Shields, Niamh used to work on this show as well. It's her birthday today. And the irrepressible Noel Cunningham, it's his birthday as well today. I heard he's just turned 50. So Noel, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Niamh, Bronwyn, and everyone else who's celebrating their birthday. I did have a request in, but I'm getting really bad at the 10 o'clock requests. No, I don't have it with me anyway. Right, so Chris, we've got some business news from you, and we're looking forward to the Highland Radio Business Matters podcast, which is live. When is it live?
Yeah,
later on today. Right, so this week's guest.
Yes, I have been finding out all about Restex Beds and Furniture, a company well known in the Northwest, founded over 50 years ago by Terence Doherty, now operated by his son Dermot Doherty.
So it's Restex. Restex is a local company, is it?
It is a local company.
It's a great name, actually. I thought that was a bigger company. But
now the name, and this is What a cue, Greg, for the clip, because in this clip he is going to tell us about how it all began and where the name Restex comes from.
Well, Restex started 50 years ago. It was my father, Terence, and my mother, Rosemary. So they were saying, what we call this bed business. So they says, right, something begin with R that's to do with beds. So my mother's Rosemary, so something begin with R. So they got rest. And then something began with T that's to do with beds or bedding. So they got the textiles, like, so that's where the Restex came from. This would have been in Fawn and Bridgend. No, it was Bridgend mainly. So we manufactured there. There was opposite the 19th bar, there was a betting office. So we had the unit behind that, and that's where we had the machines. It was a big, long, narrow unit. Then we moved to Letterkenny up to the mountaintop here in 1987. That's when we stopped wholesaling beds. We just started doing retail, completely retail. So that was a big change for us, because we weren't used to dealing with the general public and stuff, but it's been fantastic.
Yeah, interesting little insight there into how something can come about 50 years ago. They come up with the name Restex, and now it is it's Rextech or Restex. It's Restex, isn't it?
Restex.
Yes, it's got Rextech in front of me, and I'm thinking that's not the right name.
And they've supplied to hotels all over the county, and one of the questions I asked him was about springs. I mean, I don't know, is 1,000 springs in a bed a lot or whatever? So he is the man to talk to if you want to know about the
Well, I take it they don't rest on their laurels.
Oh.
What?
No, they do not. And they have, over the years, they have adapted to the market trends. And of course, the showroom now, it's not just about the mattresses and the beds. You have your pictures, you've got your lamps, your lockers, do the furniture as well. So sometimes people go in looking for a bed and a mattress, and they come out with a sofa and pictures and lights. So great Donegal story.
Another success story, another diverse business featured on the Business Matters podcast, which is fantastic, Chris. The full interview with Dermot Doherty will be available for you to podcast at your leisure from a little later on today. Just check the website. You'll see it in the listen back section, and it will populate the news section for a period of time as well. And if you want to listen to it on the radio this Sunday, Chris...
That's right. Usual time slot. That's after the 6 o'clock news on Sunday. And if you want to contact the programme, best way is by email, and it's businessmatters@highlandradio.com.
Thank you so much, Chris. Now, as I mentioned a little earlier on in the show, we got contact from a woman who has been married for 10 years, and she happened to be on her husband's phone. And she was in the Play Store and noticed that the Grindr dating app had previously been downloaded to the device, and the app itself, which is a gay dating website, was not present on the phone, but it could be in a hidden folder or something, or it could have been deleted, I don't know. And she was obviously had her life turned upside down and was looking for you, the listeners, to maybe offer some advice for her. And you have, actually, which is really good of you. Thank you so very much indeed. And if we can help with any sort of social dilemmas like this into the future, you can contact us anonymously, and we'd be more than happy to. Some of these things are very difficult to talk about. You don't want to jump to conclusions. There could be an innocent explanation. But one of the things we fear most is the conversation, the talk. A, how do you handle it? B, how do you handle what might be said? And so on. Anyway, some advice coming in from our listeners. I would like to pass on my advice to the listener about the discovery of their husband potentially being gay. I have went through this 4 years ago, and my ex-husband was married for 3 years, but was with him for 8 years in total. We had a 2-year-old boy, and I was also 20 weeks pregnant with the second when he walked out and left and came out. He was gay and was having an affair with a married man who used to work with in Dublin during the week. So this is where the affair was going on when I thought he was at work. I also found images on his phone that wasn't pleasant either, when I was innocently getting a video of a tractor, Ted, on his phone for my son to watch. What advice I have was to accept the marriage was over and there's no return, as this could not be sorted or forgiven. I kept strong. I had my family and friends to help me get through it. I went on to have a baby girl, and we just sorted access for the children. I picked up and I ended up meeting someone else, and life worked out brilliantly, and I couldn't be happier now. Now the ex would still want to come back and try and work it out, but it's massive no from me. We're good for the Waynes at pickups and we get on as it's a long 18 years fighting, but my heart goes out to you as it's very hard time and a big shock, but you are so worth so much more than just accepting this and living with it. Just don't do that. Thank you very much indeed for that. Very useful advice. Another contactor says, I would like to pass on my advice to the listener about the discovery. Oh, sorry, that is actually the same one. They've just printed it bigger for me. A pandemic has started, says a listener, through the male population of Donegal. I'd say there ain't many that may be curious or otherwise. This is a Facebook post. Another. Firstly, maybe his workmates downloaded it for the crack on his phone. There could be an innocent explanation for this. Men are only big childish boys in reality. Or finding this could be just confirmation to something you always considered deep down. Another, maybe it was downloaded by mistake while trying to download another app. It can happen. So in other words, maybe you can have that conversation. Another, every married man in Donegal who's deleted the app in the past wondering, is this about me? Okay, they're a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I understand that, and there's space for that as well. Another, JW says simply, have a conversation with the hubby, get it out in the open. Another, maybe she should speak to a close friend or family member first before splashing it all over the radio and social media. Well, firstly, it's completely anonymous with us. Secondly, we are her family and friends. I would, if you went to someone with this close to your family, I believe family would hold it against that person, and that could influence what you decided to do. We're very judgy sometimes if it doesn't affect us. This is completely anonymous. It's completely anonymous. Whereas if she were to speak to people close to her, and I want to be here to help if I can, if she were to speak to someone close to her, that could then be held against her or something down the line. Another caller says, whilst I agree that this could be something innocent like a co-worker who played a prank on him and downloaded the app, you need to ask yourself why it's not sitting right with you and question any gut feelings you have about it. But you won't know definitively until you confront him. If he gets defensive or deflects, like asks why were you checking his phone, then it's a red flag and he's hiding something. In general, I feel you always get a vibe from someone's reaction on these things. If he laughs it off and has a valid explanation, then you can hopefully move on from it. I really don't know how any man could be secretly gay or bi without there being some signs. You'll probably be analysing your whole 10 years together. If there have been signs that have been ignored, then now may be the time to face a reality you couldn't before now. Not an easy situation at all, they say, and I hope you get the best possible outcome. Have the conversation. And last one for now, just before the break. The only person who knows why it was there is him. So the conversation needs to be had between the two of you. Nothing anyone says here will make a difference as they don't know the ins and outs. Only he does. Sit him down and ask. But in a way, your comment, whilst you're almost saying the obvious, your comment might give this person the courage to have that conversation, because that, I presume, would be the most difficult. Obviously what might come from that might be difficult as well, but to sit someone down and have that convo, it's a tough one. It is a tough one, and I really feel for that person, and I hope it's innocent, and I hope everything is okay.
It's the concert everyone has been waiting for. Join us for the Highland Radio Christmas concert on Tuesday, December the 9th at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny. It's a star-studded lineup of country music starring Derek Ryan, Mike Denver, Jerry Guthrie, Keith and Lorraine McDonald from the Showband Show, Des Willoughby, and me, David James, and my band. Tickets are just €30 and now available at highlandradio.com from the Mount Errigal Hotel reception or by giving us a call on 074 91 25,000. Overnight accommodation packages available, so don't miss the Highland Radio Christmas concert at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Tuesday the 9th of December.
Consider tantalising, tasty turkey meatballs. Oof, Aldi, you're teasing us. None, cooked in the tray. Just pop it in the oven. Handy. Or what about beef teriyaki? That sizzle. And then there's succulent salmon with garlic and herby butter. Lovely. The only thing that could make that better is chips. Great value, tasty and handy too. Now you're cooking. Aldi Ready to Cook range. Prepped by us, cooked by you.
At the heart of every successful business are highly skilled and talented people. That's why at SkillNet Ireland, we know that every skill counts. Whatever sector your business operates in and whatever skills you or your business needs, contact one of our 70 SkillNet business networks for training and development that's industry-led and can improve your business success. Visit skillnetireland.ie for upskilling and reskilling supports to develop your team. SkillNet Ireland is a business support agency of the Government of Ireland.
Get ready for Highland Radio's Country Music Weekend at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, this Friday 31st of October and Saturday 1st of November. 2 nights of country music and dancing with Michael English, Patrick Feeney, David James, Stacey Breen and Jordan McPullen. And music in the late bar each night. Weekend packages are almost sold out, but very limited single night places are now available. €249 for 1 night plus 2 dance tickets, or just pay at the door. Full details at clanryhotel.com or highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio weather updates with Michael Hennies. Our Christmas shop has now opened for all your festive shopping needs. Explore our extensive range of decorations, bedding and more in our homeware department, in store or shop online at michaelhennies.com today.
Now let's have a look at that weather forecast, and I can tell you that Wednesday will be another breezy day with sunny spells and heavy showers, bringing the chance of hail and isolated thunderstorms. Feeling cool with highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees in moderate to fresh and gusty westerly winds strong along the coast. Showers will become isolated by evening. Those winds will ease. Now, around 300 direct jobs are under threat at delivery and logistics company Nuvion Group, which has entered receivership. It's understood hundreds of additional jobs could be affected among subcontractors, franchisees and solo operators across the delivery network. This, of course, includes Fastway Couriers Ireland. The company says that delays and disruptions are envisaged, and the receivers who have been appointed will work with retailers to minimise such delays. They say, "We sincerely thank our employees, franchisees and customers for their continued understanding and support through this difficult time." So that's at the business end. The user end. Let's chat to Lee Burke in Ballabafay. Hi, Lee.
Good morning, Greg. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Right. How has this affected you, Lee?
Yeah, I have a value IT item on the way from China this morning, and it's just the last mile courier is Fastway Ireland. And I put two separate queries in this morning with Comreg Ireland, the regulatory body for post and telecommunications, and the CCPC. And their guidance is to contact each other organisation. So contacted CCPC first under the assumption that they would basically point me in the direction of Comreg, and there was no surprise. The two organisations pointed me in the direction of one another. So CCPC was a little bit more helpful. They kind of told me about ICPEN. It's an international regulatory body on an international or cross-border scale. But when I went through the hoops of trying to get in touch with it, it's because it was the item I purchased is coming from China. There is some sort of issue in China at the moment off the back of what's going on with Donald Trump in the US. So not quite sure, but there's some sort of federal shutdown, and basically the facility online to log a complaint or have a case escalated, you can do nothing with it. So I have 2 case numbers now with CCPC and Comreg this morning, and don't appear to have any recourse. And my question is, when you look at a lot of the articles online this morning, the likes of Irish News Media, Irish Examiner, an alternative company has been organised, but what does that really mean is the real question. And I think, the likes of Comreg and the CCPC, they should really have, in this day and age, there should be better processes in place, to be my view on it, and it's not just me,
especially
it's how many others.
Yeah, if you go to sort of the overarching organizations, you have to ask yourself then, what is the function of these organizations, that sort of way. If they're not on top of this and know exactly the ins and outs, because theoretically your item arrives at a dock in Belfast or Dublin and just sits there, who's tracking it, who's passing on the Fastway order numbers to another company, this, that and then. I would expect at this point for these companies to sort of, these organizations, these representative organizations, have some idea to be able to pass on to consumers like yourself and thousands others undoubtedly.
You You would assume in this day and age, you would think that would be the case, but as you can see from my experience this morning, not quite the case at all. And it's not just me. How many other thousands of people in Ireland are going to experience this? And like, like it's the loss of value, and then you if you have to allow a charge back, and I don't even know if I have to go down that road yet with my own bank to get a charge back. If the item should go missing or be held in an administrative state given the current stature of Fastway Ireland. So it's just come on, kind of highlight the gap in what's there. I think it's something that needs to be looked at again.
Yeah, on their website they say to discuss next steps and delivery arrangements and inquiries, send them to Nivian customers at interpath.com. But you can imagine thousands upon thousands of emails in there. What comes from that next? Who's going to take control of the situation? Is it who transfers this to another delivery company? Is it the wholesaler, the retailer? Is it Fastway couriers, receivers? Do they engage DHL or other? How what happens next? That's the unanswered.
Yeah, needs more clarity, I think.
All right, okay. Well, I'm not sure we can endeavour. I'm not sure what we might get. But Lee, it's a bit of a sticky wicket. What is it you're waiting on? Is it a high value item?
Yeah, it will be AV equipment. It's
Okay.
a fairly new device. It's
Right.
from a company called Zima Space in China, and I do a lot of work there with networks and security.
Okay.
And it's gonna. Well, I hope it comes, but you never know in the day. So just watching the track in there this morning. So just have to see what happens now once it comes into Ireland. So it departed Netherlands this morning, so just have to wait and see what happens.
Keep
I
us
suppose,
updated,
now,
will you, Lee? I know you're going to have other things on your mind. I hope it is actually something simple happens and some other company's mad to pick up this slack. But let us know if you remember. If you don't, that's fine. Thanks, Lee.
All right.
Bye. Lee Burke there. Good morning, Greg. Would you be able to find out what happens to people's parcels who use Fastway? Yesterday, I sent 2 parcels via Fastway. Yesterday, both contained goods of value. I'd really like to know if they're returned to me or will they be delivered at some stage. Thank you so much. That comes in from a Manor listener. Unfortunately, we don't know at this point. It's interesting, actually, because you're talking about stuff that you've dispatched. Could it end up being sitting in a warehouse at some point? Who's going to come in and sort that out? Who returns it to you, or who continues its delivery journey? I really don't know, unfortunately, and there is no information out there, as we heard from Lee, but that is a pickle. Thankfully, it hasn't happened closer to Christmas. These things have a way of sorting themselves out, and there might be delays, but generally speaking, these things get sorted out. But it's one thing me saying it, it's another thing you, I suppose, actually living and existing it. Fingers crossed. Let us know if you get any communication in relation to that. You might have been tracking the DJ Carey case. As you might know, he's a 5-time All-Ireland winner and was awaiting sentencing for defrauding several people by pretending he had cancer and needed money for treatment. He had admitted a number of charges in that regard. But DJ Carey's sentencing hearing may not now go ahead as planned after the judge was told the former Kilkenny hurler is in hospital. When his case was called this morning, the judge was told he was admitted to Portoncula University Hospital in Galway yesterday. A copy of a medical letter was handed up and inquiries now being made in relation to his admission. The case will be mentioned again this afternoon. It's a tough one, that. It really is, because I know people in the sporting world would have held DJ Carey and those who follow sport in very, very high regard. He definitely had problems, right? So something drove him to what he was doing, and it's clear by some of his activities that he was blooming desperate. And has not been well. But anyway, he's in hospital, so that hearing may not go ahead. We'll keep you updated on that, of course. All right, that's where we leave it on the show for this Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening.